It's a 7:30 kickoff on Talksport 2 at Molineux as Wolves take on Brentford with former Ireland captain Matt Holland and Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Adrian. A very good evening to you. Welcome to a Baltic night at Molineux, where the pre-match chatter amongst the locals is concerned. Not tonight's third-round replay, but the fourth-round tie that lies ahead as the prize for the winners. Because it is the prospect of a trip to the Hawthorns for a Black Country derby that has piqued the interest of the Wolves fans. It's a derby that's seldom been seen in recent years, but it's only 11 days away if Gary O'Neill's men can win tonight. Well, Albion and Wolves have met only twice in the last 12 seasons. Brentford will aim to ensure that that remains the case by making some club history. They've never won an FA Cup tie away to top-flight opposition, but can they end that hoodoo this evening in their final game before Ivan Toney returns? Well, we'll run through the full teams in a moment. These are the headlines, though. Wolves' young Irishman Joe Hodge makes only his second appearance of the season. He's coming in for the suspended João Gomez. Brentford's three changes see Christopher Ayer return from injury, Ben Mee from a ban, and Vitaly Yadler is recalled. Nørgaard's injured, Pinnock rested, and Jørgensen drops down to the bench. And it's a good evening to the former Ireland midfielder Matt Holland, who I'm delighted to say is alongside me tonight. Matt, it's not full, but there is a buzz about this place again, generally. And when you consider the summer saw the departures of Neves, Nunes and Collins for a combined £120-odd million, then the manager walked out the week before the season started. How much of an achievement is it that Wolves are 11 points ahead of where they were 12 months ago?
I think it's great testament to Gary O'Neill and the job he and his coaching staff have done since they've arrived at the club. Like you say, they arrived so late in the day, but they've managed to garner a really good spirit, character and togetherness with this Wolves group. They had to sell a lot of players to, we've seen today the punishments that Everton and Nottingham Forest have had because of financial fair play mishaps. Well, Wolves had to sell a lot of players because they were in a similar boat and probably dealing with quite a small squad. I think we were talking to Sean Derry a little earlier, and he felt that, that they could do with extra bodies in the squad because they are quite limited in that respect, and they've lost a few to international duty and suspensions, injuries, like everyone else has, but they are dealing with quite a small squad. So for him to have got them into this position and the quality that they've got, that we've seen from their side, and here at Molineux in particular, where they've been very difficult to beat, I think he's done an amazing job.
Well, we'll look at the game in more detail very shortly. First of all, though, let's get the latest odds with William Hill.
In the zone on Talksport 2 with official betting partner William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
And Lee Phelps joins us. Lee, a very good evening to you. Wolves pretty tidy here at Molineux. I'd imagine that's reflected in their price tonight.
Absolutely, yeah. 10 to 11 the price they are at home. And look, I fancied them in the first game, and they had to play a long time with 10 men, and it was a bit of a back to the wall effort in the end, wasn't it? So you kind of felt a little bit for them, but they got through it. And the draw 12-5 today, I don't expect that again. Brentford 12-5. You could maybe argue that Wolves should be a little shorter, given what you just said there about Wolves' home form. I mean, it's really, really good, isn't it, in the Premier League? You look at, unbeaten in their last 8 home matches, winning 5, drawing 3. Only Liverpool and Brighton have beaten them on their own pitch since mid-March. Got a good record against tonight's opponents as well. And I think, you're talking, there's been a lot of chat this week about Thomas Frank's position all of a sudden when he was everyone's cup of tea at the start of this campaign. 6 matches in a row without a win for Brentford. They've drawn 1 and lost 5. Look, I think it's not often that I come on here and talk about, a price of 10 to 11 being a price that I'd look at, but I do fancy Wolves tonight. Wouldn't mind the Wolves win and both teams to score. That goes up to 100 to 30. Brentford are 13-2 to win with both teams score because, maybe we are in that so-called winter break, aren't we? So maybe some of the players, there might be a few players rested. But I think Wolves will get this done, to be honest with you. And he's a man who I put up in the first leg who I really fancied. And I thought Matheus Cunha would be a much shorter price tonight, but he's not really. 17-10 to score at any time, 9-2 to score first. I think Cunha in a Wolves win is good enough for me.
And Lee, what in terms of the goal numbers, if you look at the 2 games between these two, obviously you've had an over and an under. It was a 4-1 win for Wolves 3 weeks ago in the league, and then a 1-1 draw in the cup. Which way are you going tonight, over or under 2.5?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I went for over last time, and I think the sending off changed that game so much. And whether you're watching it as a fan or you've had a bet on it, when that happens, it's kind of like, oh no. So I think that changed. It will have changed the XG if you're into those sort of things. Over 2.5 goals tonight is 10-11. Under 2.5 is 4-5. So it's more or less a pick 'em on that. If you want to go further than that, over 3.5 goals, which obviously, like you said, did land in the league game. That's 12-5. It's quite a big price, that. And I wouldn't be surprised, but I'd go over 2.5, definitely.
OK, Lee, best of luck to you. Appreciate your time. Those are the latest odds with William Hill. Gamble responsibly, 18 plus only. BeGambleAware.org.
In the Zone on Talksport 2 with official betting partner William Hill, giving you the tools for positive play. Take time to think and know your limits. 18 plus, BeGambleAware.org.
And you're listening to the FA Cup on Talksport 2 with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup, 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. Let's look back, Matt, at the first cup game between the two. Wolves and Joao Gomez set off inside the first 10 minutes. Because of that numerical disadvantage, they let Brentford have possession. They invited the Beast to try and break them down. They struggled to do that. They didn't create a stack of chances. They scored only once. Wolves, though, very unlikely to approach this the same way tonight. Do you think that might play more into Brentford's hands?
Well, I think it's a really difficult one for Thomas Frank at the moment, because the game comes a day early for Ivan Toney. He's got Brian Mbeumo, who's a terrific player, out injured. He's got Johan Visser away on international duty. So his options are really limited in terms of his forward positions. So I think it's a really difficult one for them tonight to try and hurt this Wolves side. I fancy the home team quite strongly. I know they've got a good record here at Molineux, and I just think they'll get the job done tonight. I just don't think Brentford have got the firepower to really hurt Wolves.
Well, let's have a look at the two teams as they come out onto the field ahead of us. Wolves in their old gold and black, with Jose Sarr in goal. A back three of Kilman, Sandy Bueno and Toddy. Semedo, Hodge, Doyle and Doherty. Sarabia and Cunha, and Bellegarde up front for Wolves.
Yeah, interesting. Bellegarde up top, Cunha in behind him on that left-hand side. I think that's a nice front three, isn't it? Sarabia, Bellegarde and Cunha. Cunha's impressed me. He's getting better and better. And they look really strong at the back as well. Kilman, Bueno and Totti. I think that's difficult for Brentford to break down.
That's Strakosha in goal for the Bees tonight. It's Nathan Collins making his first return to Molineux, playing on the left of a back three. We expect Aya, who's back from injury, on the right. Ben Mee, who's back from suspension, playing in the middle. Rooslev and Lewis Potter at wing back. Damsgaard, Janelt and Jensen in midfield. And Mopé and De Silva up front in tandem. You would imagine for the last time on the basis that Ivan Toney's back for the weekend game.
Well, great news that Ben Mee's back. He offers great experience and quality at the back. But what a miss Christian Nørgaard is in midfield. He's such a terrific player. Breaks play up and gets them on the front foot as well. So him to be missing is a big loss for Brentford.
Well, the Bees players out in their two-tone grey shirts, light grey fronts, very, very dark grey backs, white shorts. And the young mascots, they've had their own five-a-side game between them. There's so many mascots down there of varying sizes, all of them looking absolutely freezing cold on a very, very cold Black Country night. Max Kilman, the Wolves captain, coming across to take his place now for the pictures as well inside the centre circle. Talk about the familiarity of these two. They're playing each other again in just 3 or 4 weeks' time in the league. So that will be 4 matches between the two in the space of about 6.5, 7 weeks. Does that have any bearing when you're in tonight's the third game of that stretch? Does it have any bearing at all?
Yeah, you do start to get to know who you're up against, how they play. Although in 4 weeks' time it could look very different, the two sides. With the injuries, the suspensions, the players away on international duty, in 3 or 4 weeks' time it could be 2 very different 11s.
Well, the Brentford players just in a huddle away to our left-hand side in front of the steep bull stand here, and Wolves defending the old South Bank in this first 45 minutes. Well, only 2 Premier League sides have been knocked out of the FA Cup so far this season. A third guaranteed to go here at Molineux tonight. It is the third meeting of Wolves and Brentford in a little under 3 weeks, and a trip to West Brom awaits the winners. And the referee gets us underway. It's Andy Madley, who took charge of the league game between these two, who's officiating again this evening. Ball swept forward by Jose Sarr, out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Wolves' left-hand side by Matt Doherty. They're kicking from right to left in this first 45 minutes, and in fact he's going to leave it for Toddy Gomez, the centre-half. And the ball hooked by Cunha across to the right-hand side of the Wolves' back line. Semedo angling it with his right foot over his shoulder and then wins the seconds in midfield. Sarabia playing it back to him. Wolves on the front foot. The early exchanges of the game here on Talksport 2. Back it goes now for Doyle, and Toddy will come forward.
In terms of the team shape, we expected Wolves to play with the back three. That's exactly how they've lined up. Likewise, Brentford. We weren't entirely certain that they would go with the back three. They could have played a 4, but it is a 3, and it's interesting in the way they've set it up. It looks like Nathan Collins on the right-hand side, Ben Mee on the left. It's more natural for Nathan Collins to play on the right of that back three, so it suits him to have Ben Mee back in the team.
Now Christopher Ayer playing in the middle of the 3. There's no Ethan Pinnock tonight. Pinnock, we understand, just rested, nothing more serious than that. He's been training as normal over the course of the last few days, but just given the night off. Such an integral part of the Brentford team. The ball played a little bit nervously by Jose Sarr out towards the stretching Doyle, who brought it down in midfield. Man has scored that excellent goal in the first game between these two to get Wolves this replay tonight. And he works it across to the Wolves captain, Max Kilman. Kilman playing it forward through the midfield for Wolves, who you would imagine will dominate possession tonight. It was the other way round when the two sides met, but a large in the first game, but that by and large was a byproduct of João Gomez's very early dismissal that night. Here's Toddy playing it forward towards Matt Doherty. Lovely drop of the shoulder, turn inside away from Mesroslav. And then Damsgaard comes back in to try and win it back, and it ricochets through off a couple of pairs of legs. Toddy's going to be able to pick it up only about 10 yards outside the Brentford penalty area. Back it goes now for Tommy Doyle. And Doyle through the midfield for the tall, imposing figure of Cunha. Ayer trying to bring the ball away, can't do so effectively. Ben Mee will just put his left foot through it, get it towards halfway, and buy Brentford a little bit of time. Couple of minutes gone. The early stages here on Talksport 2, and it's still Wolves 0, Brentford 0.
It's the home team that made the better start, the more confident start. Tommy Doyle in midfield looking to get on the ball. Joe Hodger just comes short now, looking for it, but I think the likelihood is he'll look to try and join a little bit more going forward, and Tommy Doyle's the one that'll look to get it off the back three and get Wolves playing.
I will keep you up to date with all of the events going on elsewhere. Choice of listening for you tonight over on Talksport. And we'll go round the grounds for the goals as they go and bring you every kick that counts from Bristol City against West Ham. And the first goal that has been scored tonight was in a 7 o'clock kickoff. And the one game in the EFL Trophy, Wigan leading at Doncaster through Charlie Wyke, his 8th goal of the season. Now Brentford picking it up inside the penalty area, but De Silva didn't make the most of the half chance that came his way. Second phase of play gets the ball at his feet, but Sarabia has been fouled, and it's a free kick that Doyle will take.
That was actually a really good chance for Brentford, and they didn't take it. Gave the ball away at the back walls, trying to play out, and it fell nicely to Mopé. A little bit slow to decide what to do. In the end, he tried to play De Silva in. It was a poor choice, really, from Neal Mopé. It was on to have a go himself.
So we're 4 minutes in. Wolves with all the ball. Brentford with the first glimmer of a half chance, nothing more than that. Here's young Joe Hodge in the midfield, former Manchester City trainee who's got a dozen first-team games for Wolves behind him, but this only his second of an injury-curtailed season. He's done really well in training, we're told, and they've been looking to get a way to manoeuvre him into the team. They're blessed with some decent central midfielders here. Hodge getting his chance tonight. Brentford picking up possession with a throw. Mopé took it quickly, but just held it over Janelt's head and straight into the Wolves penalty area.
Yeah, just looking at the touchline, I was watching Gary O'Neill. He's gesticulating to his players, moving them into position. He really does like to coach, doesn't he? Improve players. And I've been impressed with him, the job that he's done here at Molineux. I was impressed with the job he did at Bournemouth, in all honesty, and felt he was harshly treated there.
Now Doherty getting it for Sarabia with a lovely cushioned layoff. Cunha couldn't make the most of it. Brentford win it back, and Ayer will turn it all the way back for his goalkeeper, Strakosha. And the Albanian international gets it forward towards halfway, where Kilman can beat Mopé pretty easily in the air. You would expect him to be able to do that. Much taller than the Wolves defender than the Brentford striker. Then Janelt went down just outside the centre circle. The referee happy for play to continue. And Wolves have their foot on the ball again with Toddy. just laying it back behind square for Sandy Bueno. Bueno, the Uruguayan international, signed from Girona. Hasn't had too many first-team opportunities since his £8.5 million move, but gets one again tonight, playing in the middle of the Wolves back three in his white boots. Here's Bellegarde, who has caught the eye since signing, and he'll bring it forward. Good advantage play by the referee. Bellegarde fouled. Doherty laying it out towards Totti, who's made a good run from centre-half down the left wing. Recycle back for Doyle. Doyle working it inside the penalty area. Bellegarde with great movement. It's shepherded back by Cunha towards the edge of the penalty area, and they're able to get it away, Brentford, through Damsgaard, but they're on the back foot under a little bit of pressure at the moment.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're quite happy and content to sit in. It's very much a back five from Brentford in the early stages. Midfield three, two up top, but they're quite deep.
And they've got work to do again, but it's knocked away by Aya before Doherty could take it inside the penalty area. Wolves throw.
Yes, it's going to be difficult for Wolves to try and break through the way that Brentford have set up. Then you're looking for a bit of quality, a bit of individual brilliance. So we saw that from Bellegarde, the way he twisted and turned. He beat two men, he broke the lines by doing so.
So Wolves bringing it forward again, and they're midway between the halfway line and the edge of the Brentford penalty area. And it's interesting that Brentford are playing a back five tonight and play with three centre-halves in the first game, because generally speaking, Thomas Frank has played a back three against top six opposition and has played a back four against everybody else. So clearly playing Wolves a huge amount of respect.
That, and also the fact that he's dealing with such an extensive injury list. I think if he had everybody available, it would probably be a back four this evening. If Rico Henry was available, for instance, if Brian Mbermo was here, if Ivan Toney was playing, you know, I think then he may well have decided to go with a back four. As it is, it's almost like damage limitation. We'd be hard to break down. We'll try and create something on the counter-attack. Very good at doing that. Usually they haven't really got too much pace up front, so not going to be easy for them tonight.
Yeah, but perhaps it is a circumstance. Well, I'll pick my 11 strongest players and I'll just see what the best formation is to get those 11 on the pitch at the same time. And that's how he's ended up with what he's got. Good play by Cunha, lovely little nutmeg. The referee allows play to go on after Collins was initially beaten. The Wolves have it with Doyle, Hodge, Kilman sliding, getting it clear. Now an opportunity for Wolves to bring it forward with Semedo, and he's got it out towards the right flank. Bellegarde will pick it up, a little flick from him, a little bit too intricate that time, and Damsgaard could work it back for Roslav on the corner of his own box, and he'll chip it forward. Chested down by De Silva. That's straight out of play for a Wolves throw. We're 7 minutes in here on Talksport 2. Wolves 0, Brentford 0, and here's Matt Holland.
Well, if Brentford are going to have any joy tonight, it's going to be really important that the front two get a hold of it. Every time the ball's gone up to De Silva and Mopé so far, it's come straight back. They've got to show a bit more strength, get a hold of the ball and allow the midfield to come and join them.
Totti playing it forward. Doherty with a little flick off Roslav. Goes out of play for a throw. And that Brentford list of absentees, incidentally. Toney through suspension. Henry, Hickey, Schade, Nørgaard and Mbermo all through injury. Godos is at the Asian Cup. Wissa and Onyeka at AFCON. I mean, that would do for most sides, but...
Did you add Nørgaard there as well?
And Nørgaard out through injury with the ankle problem that he's got. So, major problems. And you can see that they are, with no disrespect, down to the bare bones, just in terms of first-team experience rather than ability of players. A few on the bench that have hardly seen the light of day. Here's Totti bringing it forward for Wolves.
I mean, Wolves are a bit light as well. You know, they've got a few missing. Hwang's away. I'll tell you what is a big boost for Gary O'Neill is having Pedro Neto back available.
Yeah, he's on the bench tonight, and they're delighted to have Mario Lemina back as well, player who once played in the Champions League final. Mario Lemina in his Juventus days. Semedo taking the throw back towards the edge of the penalty area. High left-footed cross swung by Sarabia. Chested down by Doherty on the left-hand side of the box, but knocked away. Mopé will chase willingly after it, but Hodge can recycle it through the Wolves midfield. And it will go out towards the right-hand side of that midfield again. Hodge getting it back, playing it forward into the feet of Cunha. Cunha controlling it on his right foot, and then playing it with his left down towards Doherty. And the Wolves fans are already getting themselves warmed up for the potential Black Country derby against West Brom, which will kick off at 11:45. West Brom at home to the winners of this, a week on Sunday. That game will be live for you on Talksport.
Wolves knocking the ball about nicely. 2 spare men for them, Totti and Max Kilman, the 2 wide centre-backs. And they've seen a fair bit of the ball early on.
Hodge getting it forward here for Doherty. Totti coming forward right on cue. Left-hand side of the area. It's a deep cross. Chested down. Hodge getting it from underneath his feet. Cleared, though, by Damsgaard. It's all hands to the pump defensively here for Brentford.
And that's good from Wolves, because they are the spare men. You know, and Totti, I think he's going to have to be adventurous, he and Kilman. Get forward when they can. Try and get up the pitch. And Totti arrived on the edge of the box and delivered a decent cross into the area. They're going to see a lot of the ball tonight.
Yeah, he's got it again now, and he's fed Doyle in the same kind of position from which he scored in the first game. He was urged to shoot, thought better of it. But Wolves are recycling it, going back through Doyle, who's looked really comfortable so far, the diminutive Irishman in the heart of the Wolves midfield. Down towards his compatriot Doherty. Now to Doyle. Doyle back for Santi Bueno and played out to the right-hand side of the Wolves back line for Kilman. Now Nelson Semedo will be able to bring it forward. Semedo, who won the Portuguese Cup earlier in his career, brought forward towards the edge of the penalty area for a left-footed shot that stings the palms of Strakosha. Was very comfortably saved. He just took a quick step to his left-hand side and brought it under control. And it remains 0-0 with 11 minutes gone here on Talksport 2.
Yeah, it's worth an effort. You know, it opened up for him. Driving towards the edge of the box, struck it cleanly, but straight at the goalkeeper. Has been a good start from the home team, though. Not a full house at Molineux, but I'll tell you what a prize if they can get through this one. West Brom in a Black Country derby. Wow.
They've got a really poor record against West Brom in the FA Cup as well. They'll certainly feel that they owe them one. I think they've been drawn together 7 times over the years, and Wolves have gone through once. Wow. Which was on their way to winning the final in 1949. But the Albion have won every other time, or got through every other time, and most recently in the latter part of the first decade of this century, about 2007, something like that. So the Wolves feel that there's a score to settle, but Brentford equally desperate to get themselves through. And they've got a free kick, the Bees, on halfway here. Wolves keeping a really high line. Flighted forward by Jensen, down towards Damsgaard. Damsgaard controlling it on the right-hand touchline, playing it into the blonde-haired Ben Mee. Mee to Janelt, and then back for Jensen, down towards Mee again. Left-footed clip forward towards the edge of the penalty area. It's a good turn by Ayer. Right-footed shot is saved at the near post. Ayer heading it back in. Mopé couldn't get there, but it's turned in by Nathan Collins. And Brentford lead by a goal to 0. And he's back on his old stomping ground and he scores. Nathan Collins with the goal against the run of play. It's Wolves 0, Brentford 1.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible, because it's been all Wolves up to this point. And it just had to be, didn't it? Nathan Collins, he had a difficult game against them a fair few weeks back when they lost 4-1. But he's opened the scoring here. Wolves have been quick, they've been out the blocks, they've been moving it sharply. Brentford win a free kick on the halfway line. They slow it down. They get bodies into the box. They pile it forward. They win the first ball, they win the second ball, they keep it alive. Ayer has an effort, well saved by Jose Sarr, but they keep it alive, and it's Nathan Collins who pokes it home from about 7 or 8 yards.
Well, we do have VAR in action tonight. It's Graham Scott who is overseeing Andy Madley's decisions, and the referee hasn't been given the signal to restart play. So there's obviously a relatively lengthy inspection going on inside the penalty area. Now, Andy Madley is just speaking to Santi Bueno, is he indicating that it's a possible offside, I think, and that is what is being looked at. So the Nathan Collins goal might yet be chalked off.
Well, we haven't seen a replay, and I didn't notice there was an offside in there.
And there wasn't one. They had a long look, but obviously he was onside. The goal stands, and Nathan Collins, who never scored a goal for Wolves in his time here, has scored on his return to Molineux. His first ever goal on this ground. And Wolves, for all the hard work and the excellent start that they've had to this game, trail Brentford by a goal to 0. Nathan Collins scoring his second of the season.
Yeah, because Wolves had looked lively, hadn't they, in the opening exchanges, moving the ball sharply. Every time it went dead, they were looking to do things quickly. Brentford complete opposite. trying to soak up any pressure that Wolves were putting on them. And as soon as they won that free kick, they just stopped the game, slowed it down, took about 30-40 seconds before the restart, piled bodies into the box, won the first one, kept it alive, and have found an opener.
Well, we're 14 minutes in, possession 83-17 in Wolves' favour, but for all that possession, they've had one shot on target each. And Brentford has gone in. So here's Doyle getting it forward. The second time in this cup tie that Wolves are going to have to try and come from behind. Will Brentford be able to protect the lead more effectively than they did at the G-Tech 10 days ago? De Silva chasing here. Totti's going to be able to get it back to his goalkeeper. Jose Sarr side-footing it outside the penalty area for Max Kilman, who'll chip it forward to halfway. Brentford leading 1-0. It's a great little touch around the corner, but as Bellegarde helped it on, Sarabia come back from an offside position.
There's another chance there for Brentford on the counter-attack, and a more recognised centre-forward. Just De Silva playing in that unfamiliar position really up top alongside Neil Mopak, I think gets himself in. He was slow to react for the ball through, and I think it was Totti Gomez who got himself back goal side and won the ball back for Wolves, but that was a big chance on the counter for Brentford, not taken.
Yeah, Josh De Silva, central midfielder rather than a striker by trade. Needs must in the absence of Wisser and Burmo and Tony for a variety of reasons. Josh, who only made his comeback 10 days ago from a hamstring problem. He started played on the opening day of the season, but hadn't featured since before the first game between these two. Playing today. Now Wolves looking for a response. Bringing it forward with Doherty down the left-hand side. Totti just lets the ball run out of play. Roslev with the touch. And it's a throw that will be taken by Wolves. 25 yards from the corner flag they're attacking. Doyle makes a run. De Silva just had his attention drawn to that. Ball thrown back for Bueno. And now Kilman, who can venture forward over halfway and bring it onto his favoured left foot. Angled the ball down towards the edge of the penalty area, but presented it straight to Collins, his former teammate. He clears. It should be easily mopped up by Bueno. He got there ahead of De Silva. Gets it back for Jose Sarr. Wolves playing out from the back. Find Totti. Totti playing one down the inside left channel. Bellegarde will chase everything tonight and has done well. His industry rewarded as Ayer comes across with him and puts it out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Wolves left-hand side. 1-0 to Brentford.
The difficulty for Wolves in the opening 20 minutes is getting the ball into the front three. Because of the way Brentford have set up, they're making it really difficult to play through the middle. As I say, they're leaving Totti and Max Kilman as the spare men, and they're trying to block the ball, block the passing lanes into those front three, and they haven't been able to get them on the ball often enough for Gary O'Neill's liking.
Now, Wolves decided don't have a great FA Cup record in the recent past. They've actually been knocked out in their first tie in the competition in 8 of the last 12 seasons. Didn't reach the semi-final in 2019, but it's the only time they've got to the last 4 of the competition this century. They did it when Steve Claridge was leading the line for the club in the late 1990s. Brentford, on the other hand, 4 quarter-final appearances in their history. That's as far as they've ever got. The most recent of those is a third-tier side back in the late 80s. Hoping to make it through to round 4 tonight. West Brom away for the winners, as you know. The ball is with Jose Sarr. Put under pressure by Mope, and he delayed and almost left it too long before siphoning it out towards Semedo. He was then put under immediate pressure, and Brentford had turned possession over, and they've got a throw midway inside the Wolves half. We're 19 minutes in. The games elsewhere around the country have all kicked off. Newport already leading at Eastleigh, ahead inside 2.5 minutes of that game. Newport at home to Manchester United a week on Sunday, if they can hold on. They're ahead down in Hampshire, leading by a goal to nil. We'll keep you abreast of all of the goals as they go in. And remember, reports of those goals and every kick from Bristol City against West Ham live for you right now over on Talksport. If you've got the app, it's very easy just to seamlessly swipe left, swipe right, and you can be abreast of everything that is going on in both games all at once. Jose Sarr getting it forward here. Nathan Collins beating him a few to go.
On track.
tomorrow afternoon from 1 on Talksport 2. Strap yourself in and put the pedal to the metal for some high-speed sporting mayhem.
There's some wacky strategies out there.
In-depth racing analysis and big-name interviews.
Performance is still there, but for whatever reason, they just can't quite unlock it.
Keep ahead of all the action in the world of motorsports.
We want to keep pushing the technology.
Fast and first with the facts. On track tomorrow afternoon from 1 on Talksport 2.
The playlist on Talksport 2. Top flight football conversation for the sporting nation.
He's going to be half fit at best.
Yeah, at best.
At best, half fit.
All the big name views, news, and opinions that matter.
This bloke's too good at football for me.
Pull up your socks, lace up your boots, and get stuck in.
They did win, and they won quite comfortably.
Get all the big fever pitch build-up.
And 20 minutes in, it's still 1-0 to Brentford here at Molineux. Doherty bringing it forward for Wolves. Clipped inside the penalty area. Bellegarde couldn't quite get there in time. Neither could Semedo. And then it came onto the right foot of Sarabia. His shot is blocked. Apologies for the technical difficulties. You didn't miss anything while we were away. Still, Brentford leading with that goal against the run of play scored by Wolves' old boy Nathan Collins. Kilman has it back. Play back towards halfway. Newport leading at Eastleigh 1-0 with an Aaron Wildig goal. And Bristol City lead West Ham by a goal to nil in our commentary game over on Talksport. So Bristol City 1, West Ham 0. So the opening 6 minutes. Bristol City, Newport and Brentford all ahead in their respective FA Cup ties tonight. The Wolves with an opportunity here, a set-piece chance for them to try and get themselves back on level terms. Tommy Conway it was that got that Bristol City goal, incidentally their top scorer's 8th of the season. Brentford keeping a high line on the edge of the penalty area. It's swept in left-footed. Toddy coming round the back. There's a little collision on the edge of the box. It's Bellegarde just lobs one towards goal. Wouldn't have counted though, as the referee seeing the pushing and shoving between Doherty and Mopé. It's found in Brentford's favour, and it's a free kick to the Bees about 5 yards outside their own penalty area. Midway through the first half here on Talksport 2, Wolves 0. Brentford 1, here's Matt Holland.
And actually, since Brentford scored, it's just gone a little bit flat at Molineux. Wolves started really brightly, out the blocks quickly, moving the ball sharply. But since they've gone behind, it's just gone a bit flat.
Cunha's got it now. Doherty to his left-hand side, he's gone for goal! And it's well saved by Strakosha, because it came at an awkward height to him. He dived and very nearly made it at Yorker length, and as he got his hands behind, it looked as though he was going to bounce off him, potentially towards Bellegarde, but he gathered very quickly at the second attempt.
It was a good save. It was a snapshot from Cunha. And Matt Doherty had made a really good run to his left-hand side, and you thought he was going to actually try and play his teammate in, but it opened up for him to get a dig at goal, and Strakosha was equal to it, alive to the effort.
Now you're listening to Wolves against Brentford in the FA Cup on Talksport 2 with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. Josh De Silva in possession for Brentford, making his way towards the edge of the penalty area. Very quickly converged upon by 4 in old gold and black. Knocked away by Sandy Bueno, but then Cunha's given it straight back. Damsgaard flicking it out of the left-hand side of the penalty area. Right-footed ball chipped in, headed towards goal, come off Doherty and out for the first corner.
You've got to be honest, that looked offside. It was Lewis Potter, I think, arriving at the far post, and he looked as though he'd gone the wrong side, but the assistant just down in front of us didn't put his flag up, and it is a corner to Brentford. Another opportunity for them from a set piece, and that's an area where they are strong.
So Jensen comes out to take it. And on the edge of the penalty area, he's got Janelt unmarked. He's got Roslev unmarked. He's played it back for the German. Left-footed, he's able to play it in. Too close to the goalkeeper. Jose Sarr given good protection by centre-halves, able to come out and claim it before it got to Collins. But Wolves more than happy to defend that zonally and just allow Brentford possession of the ball on the edge of the penalty area.
That wasn't the worst ball in either from Janelt. I think Nathan Collins is a little bit slow to make his run.
Wolves bring it forward themselves. They're kicking from right to left here on Talksport 2. Josh De Silva winning it back, taking it down towards the touchline, and then Tackett himself fell over the ball. And Tommy Doyle's able to come away with it. Works the ball through the centre circle to find Max Kilman. Kilman out towards Nelson Semedo. More than 100 Wolves games behind him now. 24 minutes in tonight. Brentford leading 1-0 with Collins' goal Nathan Collins, I beg your pardon's goal 10, 11 minutes or so ago. Totti playing it back towards Doyle. Has a good run from Sarabia, which took Lewis Potter back into a central position and created space for Semedo on the Wolves' right. Ball played to the Portuguese. Back past Hodge for Doyle again. Bueno now to Totti. Totti into the feet of the edge of the penalty area of Bellegarde, trying to make something happen. But Collins can shepherd it back to his goalkeeper, and Strakosha gets it away. Just seemed to hang up in the breeze here in the Black Country and fell Totti's way. Now worked by the blonde-haired Doyle through the midfield. He gets it back again. Doyle emerging from the centre circle to play the ball out towards his right-hand side. Not necessarily a night for short-sleeve shirts, but Hodge, eager to impress and catch the eye. In a rare appearance in the first team, is clad that way tonight.
It's a night for heated gilets, Jim.
It's never a night for heated gilets, man. The ball inside the penalty area is knocked away, and Damsgaard will get it clear. I have known you for many years and love you dearly, but I did think you had more self-respect.
Well, I always used to wear short-sleeve shirts in matches.
Exactly that.
And
no further questions, Your Honour.
It was a Christmas present. It would upset the family if I didn't wear it.
Doyle through the midfield for Damsgaard. One back by Sarabia, out on the Wolves' right-hand side. Wolves towards the edge of the penalty area. Sarabia working it in. Semedo getting the byline, the angle far too tight. And maybe the pull back towards Bellegarde would have been a better option. It's very easy from here. And might not have been able to wrap his foot around it quite quickly enough, to be fair. It's gone out of play, just hitting the side netting and out for a goal kick that'll be taken by Strakosha.
Yeah, Gary O'Neill clearly really frustrated with his team. They've been unable to get the front three into the game. Sarabia's been on the ball, but that's only when he's come deep, when he's come the other side of the midfield three. They really want to try and get it into his feet beyond those midfield three, and they haven't been able to do that at all.
Wolves 0, Brentford 1. One game in the EFL tonight. The League 2 match between Mansfield and Forest Green's off. But in League 1, Carlisle, second bottom, lead at promotion, chasing Barnsley by a goal to nil. And it's Luke Armstrong that has scored that goal. Carlisle have only won one of the last 10 games. Barnsley unbeaten in 7. Will go up to 5th if they win tonight. A big win could take them 4th, but at Oakwell it's Barnsley 0, Carlisle 1. In the FA Cup, Birmingham 0, Hull 0, Bolton 0, Luton 0, Bristol City 1, West Ham 0, Tommy Conway, and Eastleigh 0, Newport 1, Aaron Wildig. Here, Brentford leading 1-0. A game that Wolves have dominated the possession, but haven't really done too much with it. Max Kilman's got it. Kilman inside his own half of the centre circle and plays it forward for Totti. Totti to Bellegarde, and back for Totti again. And Matt Doherty coming in off the left flank. Just laying it back to Santi Bueno. Bueno on the edge of the centre circle to Kilman. And Brentford more than happy to allow Wolves to play in this kind of area, which is 15, 20 yards inside the Brentford half. Now as it's played down towards Doherty, only now does Damsgaard come to engage and press. Worked in by Totti. Doherty's got it again on the edge of the area. Collins stops the 1-2 coming off. Chesney down on the edge of the box by Doyle, who will then work it out towards the right-hand side for Kilman. He plays it forward into the feet of Sarabia and gets it back. Kilman then out towards Semedo. A good movement towards the edge of the penalty area coming from Sarabia. That creates space for Kilman, who's chipped it in. Doherty with a little flick header, but too much of a little flick. Didn't really get the purchase that he wanted. He'd been able to send it the other side of Strakosha. The Brentford goalkeeper might have been struggling, but in the end it was a deft touch that sent it wide.
He's actually had a really good opening half an hour, Matt Doherty, on this left-hand side. He's a real goal threat. He gets himself in some good positions. He's driven into the box on numerous times without the ball, and he does it again, arriving and to win the header about, 10 yards out? Perhaps should have done a bit better with the header, but I've been impressed with his movement and his desire to get himself into goal-scoring positions. Now,
we talked about the fact that Wolves reached the semi-finals 5 seasons ago. He played and scored in that game. Matt Doherty, before leaving and going to Tottenham and then playing in Spain before coming back here. Another potential shock on the cards as Bolton lead Luton by a goal to nil. Dion Charles, their top scorer, with his 17th of the season. I say a potential shock, certainly in terms of the league divisions, but Bolton have won 15 of the last 19. Absolutely flying, and the 4-time winners lead Luton by a goal to nil. Deadlock also broken at St Andrews, where Tony Mowbray's Birmingham trail Hull by a goal to nil. Liam Rosenior making 11 changes tonight, but Hull leading at Birmingham. We'll confirm the goal scorer for you very shortly. Played half an hour of this one. They're all 7:45 kickoffs. It's a 7:30 here at Molineux. Brentford leading 1-0 with Cunha making his way inside the penalty area. Bellegarde tried to roll it back into his path. Collins saw exactly what was going to happen and can turn and get it away. And he goes out for a throw that will be taken on the Wolves left man.
Not a lot of space for Wolves to work in. I've got to give real credit to Brentford and the way they've set up. You know, okay, it makes it easy when you've scored an early goal. You can be even more defensive because you've got something to hold on to. But the shape of the team has made it really difficult for Wolves to get it in dangerous areas and to be played through.
Cunha taking on Ben Mee, gets to the byline. Goalkeeper only got half a hand to it. It's cleared off the line. But then Sarabia inexplicably has missed from about 6 yards. Almost an unguarded goal. And he walks away in bemusement. He can't believe that he's missed the chance. Strakosha with the initial save, but it came down about 6 yards for Sarabia. He blazed it towards goal, hit the side netting.
Well, put simply, it should be 1-1. He walked away, head bowed. He knew he's missed an absolute sitter. 6 yards out, the goalkeeper nowhere near it, and he hits the side netting. Wolves should be level.
Well, that was a mystifying miss. Jason Lakilo, it was that scored the goal for Hull. So every FA Cup tie tonight has seen an early goal. Brentford leading here. Hull a goal up at Birmingham. Bolton 1, Luton 0. Bristol City 1, West Ham 0. Newport a goal up away at Eastleigh as they play for the right to host Manchester United a week on Sunday. A game that will also be live and exclusive for you on Talksport. So 3 Premier League teams heading out of the FA Cup at the moment, including Wolves, but they should be on level terms.
He's still shaking his head, and he's got to shake it off quickly because, you know, these things happen in a match. You know, he might be the match winner. Who knows late on in the game, but he's got to forget about it. He's missed a sitter, yeah, absolutely, but move on.
Buena. Back towards Jose Sarr, clad in dark pink tonight, and a long clearance from him, really well read by Ayer, stepping up from the Brentford defensive line, and he'll make his way forward now, and he's alongside Mopé on the edge of the penalty area as the ball goes out to Josh Da Silva. Lewis Potter lets it run. It'll come back from Jensen, down towards Ben Mee. Mee bringing the ball forward from the edge of his own penalty area, and then from the edge of his own half of the centre circle, I beg your pardon, he's given it away. The Wolves have won it back and bring it forward here with Cunha. Cunha getting away from Janelt, who tried to bring him down and didn't, and then cross comes Ruslev and just went shoulder to shoulder to stop Cunha being able to get the ball inside the penalty area. Janelt having nibble after nibble outside the penalty area, knew that he had to stop. It was a good strong run by Cunha, but ultimately ran out of room.
Yeah, he's got a good turn of pace, hasn't he? And he's really positive when he picks up possession. He's got a lot to do. He's got 3 or 4 bodies in his way. Gets himself into the box, but was shoved off it right at the death. But it's a positive run from him.
An equaliser for Luton at Bolton, whose lead lasted only 3 minutes. Taif Chong scoring. And it's Bolton 1, Luton 1. Ball headed forward by Totti. 1-0 to Brentford here. But only Sarabia can tell you how it isn't 1-1. Strakosha chipping the ball outside the penalty area for Ben Mee. Mee, who's only won 2 FA Cup ties in his entire career. Bringing the ball forward over halfway. Was absolutely amazed to discover that statistic. You think of the illustrious career that he's had, but only 2 FA Cup wins in it.
Got to say, it wasn't a competition I had great joy in either, the FA Cup. Absolutely loved it as a child. I think it's a magical competition. But as a player, didn't have too much joy. Got to a quarter-final once, and that was as good as it got.
Who did you lose to?
Middlesbrough. Charlton v Middlesbrough. We drew 0-0 at the Valley, and then they beat us in the replay.
Well, the replay. Just to remind you that it does, unlike the League Cup, go to extra time tonight, and then to penalties if necessary. Doyle down towards Totti. Totti with the bleached blonde hair, playing it forward towards halfway, but easily won back. And good play by Collins. turning into trouble for a moment. Did really well to read the situation as quickly as he did. Found Janelt, and the German goes back to the posing figure of Ayer at the heart of defence. All of the FA Cup action for you tonight on Talksport, and more tomorrow. Everton against Palace and Blackpool against Forest are live games tomorrow. Everton against Palace on Talksport, and Blackpool against Forest here on Talksport 2. It's not just live football, of course. The Talksport network is going to be bringing over 200 hours of live ad-free cricket coverage as England take on India in a 5-test series. We've got David Bumble-Lloyd, Darren Gough, Kevin Peterson, all part of the team. You won't want to miss a moment. Coverage getting underway on January the 25th. And to keep up to date, make sure to download the Following On podcast as well, which is going to feature exclusive player content as well as behind-the-scenes access published every day of the tour. There'll also be daily cricket content uploaded to our new TalkSport Cricket YouTube page. That's all to come. India against England, that 5-test series here on TalkSport. Ball swept inside the penalty area. Should be put in this time, it is. And Wolves are back on level terms. Excellent ball over the top. Semedo with an initial effort that was blocked. It came back off the goalkeeper, but he was there to tap it in from close range, and Wolves deservedly are back on level terms.
Yeah, brilliant from Semedo. We've seen it actually from both wing-backs. I've talked already about Matt Doherty, the positions he gets himself into, the late runs into the box. It's the other wing-back this time, Nelson Semedo, from the right-hand side, that makes that run into the area. As you quite rightly say, Strakosha makes a good save from the initial effort, but he's there to tap in the rebound, and Wolves deserve to be level.
Well, a rare goal from the Portuguese international, only his third in 125 Wolves games, but it's got them back on level terms. 1-1. Now play restarts from the kickoff. Two Wolves players actually over towards this near touchline, taking a drink, and then when they realised that play had restarted, sprinted to try and get back in position. Brentford for a moment had a double power play but couldn't make the most of it. 1-1. I'll tell you something, Sarabia is the most relieved man in the Northern Midlands tonight. The ball played down the line from Doherty. Cunha trying to get in behind Janelt, who gets it away, and Cunha can allow the ball to roll over the line. It's out of play for Wolves. First corner of the night.
There has been a good tempo about Wolves' play. You know, the ball's gone dead. They've looked to do it quickly. Again, it's a throw-in where Brentford are slow to react to the ball down the line. Cunha's away. Janelt does well, actually. I know he's given away a corner, but he does well to stick with Cunha. But it has played at a really good tempo from a Wolves perspective.
Tommy Doyle's going to take this corner. Bellegarde unmarked towards the edge of the penalty area. 5 inside the box, swept in towards the near post. Goalkeeper got something on it, and then it's hammered away by Mopé. That was a devilish delivery from Doyle. Brilliant. In it comes again, another left-footed in-swinger. Totti trying to get on the end of that, but Brentford can hammer it away with Janelt getting it clear. And it'll be picked up in a deeper position by the other number 27 on the field, Bellegarde, who will go across towards Hodge. But that was a great ball in from Doyle.
Yeah, it was a terrific ball in. Was there a Brentford player that just ducked at the near post? It looked like it anyway, which made it more difficult, I think, to try and defend. Wolves' best moments have actually come from the wide areas. That's where the space is. The way Brentford are playing, the back 5, midfield 3 and a front 2, they're saying you can't come through the middle. And I said it's been really difficult to get the ball into the front 3. But the space is in those wide positions. I think Kilman and Totti can be braver, play further up the pitch, play higher. And if they can get those runs of Semedo and Matt Doherty into the area, which we've seen already in this game. Doherty had a chance, a header just wide. Semedo scored. That's a real threat.
That's Matt Holland. You're with us on Talksport 2 at Molineux. Wolves 1, Brentford 1. Jensen just beaten in the midfield, but it kind of back off Doherty. And Brentford have it at the back. Play forward by Ayer. Damsgaard with a turn that got the better of Hodge, whose arms were very quickly around the Dane and pulled him to the ground. It does give Wolves the opportunity to reset. Damsgaard not happy. It was a cynical foul, that by Hodge, who will have spent a lot of time. I'm making no other observation than he will have spent a lot of time looking up to Rodri in training sessions at Manchester City and seeing what he could do. And Rodri is the master of giving those free kicks away.
You just said Damsgaard wasn't happy. Gary O'Neill was applauding him on the touchline because he knew it was a good foul to give away to get his team back into shape.
Even better when you don't get a yellow card for it. Toddy will take the throw on this near touchline for Wolves. Cunha sweeping in across the edge of his own penalty area, but safely. Semedo got it for Ben Mee, off balance, heads it away, but it just squirts out towards the touchline. And Wolves continue on the front foot where Sarabia can win a throw. It's a throw that Semedo will go across to take quickly, level with the edge of the Brentford penalty area. 1-1.
Yeah, they got away with that one, Wolves. It's not a ball I particularly like. A square ball across your own 18-yard box. It was dangerous from Cunha.
Totti plays it forward towards Cunha again. Matheus Cunha, the Brazilian international who comes into tonight with 1 goal in his last 5 games. Has got 6 Premier League goals this season. It has been a club where, by and large, since their promotion, they've struggled to get a player scoring too many goals. Ball on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Totti angling it in. It's far too high. It's easily headed away. Just a little cushion header. Falls Joe Hodges' way on the edge of the box. He gets it back from Damsgaard. Has done really well. Good ball retention. Totti now. Doherty outside him. Goes inside the penalty area. Diving header was an effective one from Aya. And gets it clear. But only as far as Doyle. He finds Hodge. Wearing 32, the young Irishman. Back for Doyle again. Doyle with an excellent piece of delivery. Firing that towards the right-hand side of midfield for Sarabia. Sarabia plays it through the midfield. Now it goes back towards Kilman from Semedo. Sandy Bueno back for Semedo again. Kilman ventures forward. Played into the feet of Sarabia. Kilman on the right-hand touchline. Controls it. Draws Mopé. Plays it back for Semedo. Wolves continuing to dominate possession. We've seen plenty of that. That really has been the way that the game has unfolded from the very first whistle. Now they try and get Sarabia inside the penalty area. He's claiming a corner, but certainly more in hope than expectation. It came off him last and not Aya, and it's out of play for a Brentford goal kick. 41 gone. These are scores in the FA Cup. Wolves 1, Brentford 1 here coming up to half-time. And in the 7:45 kickoffs, Hull lead at Birmingham. Bristol City lead West Ham 1-0. Bolton 1, Luton 1, and Newport a goal up at Eastleigh.
I mean, this has been a good game, an enjoyable game. Two contrasting styles, both suffering with injuries and suspensions and players away on international duty. But I think Wolves have attacked it really well. They've played at a good tempo. They've moved the ball sharply. Brentford have been difficult to break down. They've been stubborn. They obviously scored early on, had something to hold on to, but Wolves have fought their way back into it. Certainly the home team have been the better of the two sides as we approach half-time.
Brentford hanging in there. They're back in league action against Nottingham Forest at the weekend. This is a Saturday tea time game. Forest themselves in action tomorrow in the FA Cup at Blackpool here. At this time tomorrow, right here on Talksport 2, as Mopé gets it forward. It quickly comes back, and then Aya gets it forward even more quickly, and Lewis Potter just waving goodbye. He knew he had no chance of being able to keep that in. And it's out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Wolves' right-hand side. Wolves mentioned earlier, not a great record in the FA Cup, particularly here at Molineux. They've lost their last 3 FA Cup ties on this ground, beaten by Southampton, Norwich and Liverpool. Haven't scored in any of them, but have got themselves back on level terms tonight. They've come from behind to beat both Bournemouth and Tottenham in the Premier League this season. Brentford have dropped a stack of points from winning positions over the course of the league campaign. Here's Mopé trying to get past Totti inside the penalty area, and Bueno will sweep up. They've remarkably, bearing in mind that we're still in January, they've dropped 20 points from winning positions in the league this season. They've lost almost as many games from 1-0 up as they've won. In all competitions, they've won 5 and lost 4 out of 14 when they've scored first. They've got a long throw here, a chance to get themselves back ahead coming up to half-time. 90 seconds to go to the break. Long throw inside the penalty area from Jensen, looking for Aya. First contact won by him. Ruslev will try and help it back out to the left-hand side for Jensen. Wolves will clear. Damsgaard hoists another ball forward. Lewis Potter will chase after this. Aya just tried to play him down the left-hand side of the penalty area, but Wolves will get it away. Semedo doing well off balance, works it back for Kilman. Kilman into space for Cunha. And the break will be on here as those in old gold and black flood forward. Cunha, Doherty, one side of it, he's gone the other. Sarabia is going to be able to keep it in, but right down by the corner flag. Sarabia trying a little trick to get past Lewis Potter. Janelt is going to be able to come to his aid and get it away. A really good chance coming to nothing for Wolves there on the counter-attack. They've got it again, but much deeper. Doyle playing it down towards Matt Doherty on the left in the final minute of the first half here at 1-1.
That was a wasted opportunity from Wolves' point of view, because they haven't had too many chances where they've been able to counter-attack Brentford. Brentford have had lots of bodies behind the ball. That was an occasion when they'd committed bodies up the pitch, chance to really run at their defence, and Cunha just chose the wrong option. Matt Doherty to his left-hand side had made an excellent run. Just play him in.
Doyle, Totti, Doherty, too much on there. Collins, scorer of the Brentford goal, lets it run out of play. And the fourth official, Gavin Ward, coming to the edge of the pitch, shows 2 additional minutes at the end of this first half. So the VAR checks following the goals really has been very little else in the way of stoppages throughout a very good-natured game. Not always the case that when a side plays each other, or two sides play each other twice in the space of 10 days, and there's been a red card in the first game, and arguably could have been a second red card in that first game as well. It's not always the case that they're played in a good spirit the second time. This one certainly has been. Just for the record, you could also make a case that neither of them should have been red cards in that first game, but that's a different story. Wolves bringing the ball forward, have it now with Semedo. Play back towards Doyle. Doyle trying to go long over the top, and Cunha would have been offside. Had to let it run.
Yeah, checked his run. He made the run earlier. The ball didn't come, and then he was making his way back into an onside position, and when he did, the ball was played over the top, so he couldn't go for it. Again, those opportunities to counter-attack on this Brentford side are few and far between. They have to do better when they get those opportunities. Gary O'Neill's getting frustrated with them. He wants them to move quickly, but they've got to pick the right option when they do counter.
Collins gets it forward. Santi Bueno with his right leg around De Silva, trying to play the ball, fouled him, and then a free kick that Bueno is trying to stop Brentford taking quickly. Then it is worked down the right-hand touchline eventually, and Kilman comes across the sweep up. The Wolves skipper has currently found Totti. Doyle will be able to turn it back to his goalkeeper. Mope puts pressure on Jose Sarr, but he can clear towards halfway. 1-1 on Talksport 2 in first half stoppage time. One last attack for Wolves potentially. Sarabia for Cunha. Reverse ball inside the penalty area. Flick round the corner by Doherty. Sarabia pulling it back towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Brentford wanted an offside flag that didn't come, but Collins knocks it away. And that's the last action of the first half that's been pretty entertaining. Not been blessed with a huge amount of clear-cut goal-scoring opportunity. Brentford taking the lead against the run of play through Collins. And then after Sarabia had missed all but an open goal, Semedo got Wolves back on level terms. And they go in at half-time, Matt Holland, at 1-1.
And that's the least that Wolves deserve, because over the course of the 45 minutes, they've been the better side. They started really brightly, found themselves a goal behind after dominating the opening sort of 15 minutes or so. Nathan Collins, the ex-Wolves man, of course, it had to be him after a difficult game against his former team at Brentford a few weeks back. He put them ahead. Wolves then were, I think, blunted a little bit by that goal and were a bit flat for 10-15 minutes or so, but their equaliser has got them back on the front foot again, and they look the more likely, don't they, to find a second goal. The two wide men, the two wing backs, should I say, Matt Doherty and Nelson Semedo, have carried a real threat. I think Totti and Max Kilman can play higher up the pitch. They're the ones that are spare for Wolves. They're the spare men. And I think they can be braver and get themselves into forward positions more often. But certainly Semedo and Matt Doherty have carried a real threat for the home side.
Possession's been pretty much 70-30 in Wolves' favour. Almost the direct reverse of what it was in the first game between these two. Wolves have had 7 attempts to Brentford's 2. Is it just the fact that there hasn't been a clinical enough nature to them in and around the penalty area?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that they haven't been clinical enough, because you said there hasn't been too many clear-cut opportunities. Maybe not. Well, one big chance not taken by Sarabia. 6 yards out, you have to score. You have to be clinical enough to smash that into the back of the net. And he didn't. He dragged it wide, hit the side netting. So there has been one big chance for them, which they haven't taken. They've got themselves into some good positions. Maybe chosen the wrong option at times, but they have to be more clinical in front of goal.
1-1 in the first game, 1-1 at half-time tonight. 135 minutes of FA Cup football between these two, and we're still no closer to knowing who'll be at the Hawthorns a week on Sunday in round 4. Wolves 1, Brentford 1. More thoughts on the first half next on Talksport 2.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the EFL. The Emirates FA Cup live on Talksport 2 with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Think January is bad in the UK? Here in Sweden, we get 4 hours of daylight and temperatures of -17. That's why, in January, we make things a little easier. So when you choose a Volvo XC40, you get a £4,000 contribution plus 0% APR. Pretty sure I remembered everything.
Anna, could you let me in? It's freezing out here.
Nearly everything. Order online or visit a Volvo retailer today.
50% minimum deposit, £4,000 contributed by Volvo. Finance provided by Volvo Car Financial Services UK Limited. Figure based on XC40 mild hybrid and varies by model. Terms apply.
Need a new windscreen? You want it fixed quickly without hassle, right? Like my customer. First glass damage ever. Did the right thing. Went straight to autoglass.co.uk. Told us where. Selected the day and time. And here we are. Old one off to recycling. New one carefully in. At Autoglass, we make sure the cameras and sensors are recalibrated to the manufacturer's standards, so you could trust that safety features like automatic emergency braking will work as they should. We work directly with most insurers and handle the claim for you, so you don't have to. Plus, you keep your no claims bonus. Go direct to autoglass.co.uk.
Autoglass repair, Autoglass replace.
I can be yours, radiant and waiting for you to feel me in every room you so desire. I would love to spend time with you in a steamy, hot shower. And if you take good care of me, I'll stay as hot as the day we first met.
Feel the love with a high-efficiency heat pump from My Dear. Now available with a government grant of £7,500 and 10-year warranty. Terms and property suitability apply. Visit mydearuk.co.uk.
Make yourself at home, My Dear.
Get an expert guide to all the latest speculation, signings and spending sprees with Simon Jordan's Football Business Roundup on Talksport with Tesco Mobile for Business. From the latest deals worth knowing to where the big money transfers are going. Get the inside track in one all-covering football finance feature. Simon Jordan's Football Business Roundup on Talksport with Tesco Mobile for Business. Join Tesco Mobile and get business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big mobile networks. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps. For applicable terms and verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
Hark, the goals are calling.
What a goal! Game day this Saturday
On Talksport and Talksport 2.
Unmissable coverage of the world's biggest football league.
Bounces a long way, and it's in!
2 big games each and every week, followed by a full-on football phone-in.
No one does football quite like this.
Game day this Saturday
On Talksport and Talksport 2.
The playlist on Talksport 2. Top flight football conversation for the sporting nation.
He's going to be half fit at best.
Yeah, at best.
At best, half fit.
All the big name views, news, and opinions that matter.
This bloke's too good at football for me.
Pull up your socks, lace up your boots, and get stuck in.
They did win, and they won quite comfortably.
Get all the big fever pitch build-up all in one mammoth sporting session.
Just give me the points. I want to be in front of them.
The playlist, Friday afternoon from 5 on Talksport 2.
On DAB+, online, via the Talksport app and on your smart speaker.
The FA Cup live on Talksport 2.
Well, the Wolves substitutes are out warming up here at Molineux. It is 1-1 at half-time. Nathan Collins giving Brentford the lead. And Wolves equalising through Jose Semedo 9 minutes before half-time. I think the general consensus here at Molineux is that Wolves have been the better side, should be ahead, but they're not. Let's take a look at the half-time highlights in partnership with Carling.
The Emirates FA Cup halftime highlights on Talksport 2 with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Well, Only 2 Premier League sides have been knocked out of the FA Cup so far this season. A third guaranteed to go here at Molineux tonight, and a trip to West Brom awaits the winners. Left-footed clip forward towards the edge of the penalty area. It's a good turn by Aya. Right-footed shot is saved at the near post. Aya heading it back in. Mopé couldn't get there, but it's turned in by Nathan Collins. And Brentford lead by a goal to nil. And he's back on his old stomping ground and he scores.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible, because it's been all Wolves up to this point. And it just had to be, didn't it? Nathan Collins.
Doherty to his left-hand side. He's gone for goal. And it's well saved by Strakosha. Cunha taking on Ben Mee. Gets to the byline. Goalkeeper only got half a hand to it. He's cleared off the line. But then Sarabia inexplicably has missed from about 6 yards. Ball swept inside the penalty area. Should be put in this time, it is. And Wolves are back on level terms. Semedo with an initial effort that was blocked. It came back off the goalkeeper, but he was there to tap it in from close range.
Wolves deserve to be level.
And 7 shots to 2 in Wolves' favour in that first 45 minutes. The second 45 minutes to come here on Talksport 2. Those first half highlights thanks to Carling.
The Emirates FA Cup halftime highlights on Talksport 2 with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Matt Holland with me here at Molineux. Matt, a quick word about Brentford's performance in the first 45 minutes. The goal against the run of play from a set piece. They've not created an awful lot since then. How would you sum up their display so far?
They look a team that are going through a bad patch. And that, you know, they've lost 5 on the spin in the Premier League before that draw in the first game against Wolves. Tonight they've been happy to sit back and allow Wolves to have the ball. They look a team that are really short on confidence, missing key players. And it was a surprise they went ahead, because that was perhaps their only chance in the game, wasn't it? And that looks like their best route to goal. Set pieces, balls into the box, keeping it alive. But they do look like a team short on confidence.
The second half to come. Let's keep you abreast of the details from elsewhere. The 4 other FA Cup third round replays tonight. St Andrews, it's Birmingham 0, Hull 1. Hull ahead early in that game through Jason Lakilo. Hull, the 2014 runners-up, lost 4 of their last 6, but Birmingham only 1 win in 12. And as things stand coming up to half-time, it'll be Hull that will be going to Leicester in round 4. Bolton ahead early on at home to Luton, but only for 3.5 minutes. Dion Charles, 17th goal of the season, but Luton getting themselves back on level terms. Bolton 1, Luton 1 are the winners of that. They go to Palace or Everton. That's our live game for you over on Talksport tomorrow night. The shock of the night as things stand right now. Tommy Conway's given Bristol City the lead at home to West Ham over on Talksport. The Robins looking for their first win in 5 games in all competitions, and they lead West Ham courtesy of Tommy Conway's 8th goal of the season. Winners of that at home to Forest or Blackpool. Blackpool meeting Forest at Bloomfield Road tomorrow night here on Talksport 2. And Eastleigh, 11th in the National League, playing Newport, 17th in League 2, playing for the right to host Manchester United live on Talksport a week Sunday at 4:30. Newport ahead inside the opening 3 minutes of that game, and it's still that way coming up to half-time. Eastleigh 0, Newport 1. There's one game, the African Cup of Nations ongoing. It's an 8 o'clock kick-off. Mali against South Africa, still 0-0. Game in League 1 as well. Barnsley 0, Carlisle United 1 coming up to half-time, which was a score not many would have seen coming. Luke Armstrong scoring the goal, former Harrogate man. Carlisle second bottom, but leading away at 6th place Barnsley by a goal to 0. In League 2, the game tonight between Mansfield and Forest Greens off in the EFL Trophy. Still Doncaster 0, Wigan 1. And midway through the second half there, Charlie White's 8th of the season for Wigan, who will go to Bradford in the Northern semi-finals if they can hold on. We'll keep you abreast of all of the goals as they go in over the course of the evening here at Molineux. Well, some big news for England earlier on today. It was announced that Lionesses manager Serena Wiegman has signed a new contract until 2027. She's been in the role for 2.5 years. She's already achieved incredible success, guiding the team to a first major trophy when they won Euro 2022. Reached the World Cup final, of course, last year as well. And earlier on today, Talksport's Bradley Hayden caught up with the Lionesses boss.
Serena, thank you so much for joining me. It has been a fairly monumental 24 hours for yourself, winning the FIFA the best award for the best women's coach last night. A new contract with the England Lionesses this morning. Your contract's going to run up to the World Cup in 2027. Just how pleased are you to have extended your stay with this England side?
Yeah, I'm very pleased, very happy and delighted. And I'm also very happy that Arjen extended his contract, because we are a close team together, and also together with the rest of the technical staff, of course, too. We've had incredible times together. However, I think there's more good times to come, I think. What I see going into the Euros and to the World Cup, I think our team is really good. There's good people, very talented players, also talented players going through the pathway. So I'm just very excited to go on that journey keep going on that journey with them. And I truly believe that we can still grow and improve and stay at the top of the game.
And when you look at where the England team was when you first took over to where we are now, we're a Euros champion, we reached the World Cup final. Just how proud are you of this team's progress during your time as the Lionesses manager?
Yeah, I think I'm absolutely very, very proud of the team. I've told them several times. And of course, the world around us is changing a lot too. So the other countries are really improving too. So we do have to stay at the top of our game. And that's what we see. I think the Euros was different from the World Cup. Now we have different challenges, but players stepping up. And yeah, that's what we want to do too, improve the game. Help players in their development, and of course the clubs have a big impact on that too. So the Women's Super League is improving too, like in every stage. The level of the game is going up. The amount of fans coming to the game is very exciting too, and so that development, and then coming in the national team and taking the game to the next level, is just really nice to be part of.
That's Lionesses boss Serena Wiegman talking to Talksport's Bradley Hayden on the back of the contract extension announced today. And Serena in charge of the Lionesses until 2027. There has been a goal in the EFL Trophy. Doncaster have equalised at home to Wigan in that game. 20 minutes to go. Owen Bailey has scored it for Grant McCann's men. Doncaster 1, Wigan 1. More live football coming for you tomorrow. Everton against Crystal Palace, 7:45 on Talksport. Blackpool against Forest, 7:45 on Talksport 2. Championship action Friday night, exclusive from Stadium of Light, Sunderland against Hull. And then game day exclusive Saturday lunchtime, Arsenal hoping to get back to winning ways after their recent malaise. They host Crystal Palace. Also a date for the diary, Wolves at Brighton next Monday night. And we've got that one exclusive for you as well on Talksport. That's Brighton Wolves with Sam Matterface and Danny Murphy next Monday at 7:45. In terms of the here and now, Matt Holland, Wolves and Brentford both out for the second half, and neither are making any changes now. What do Brentford need to do to get themselves more back into this game in terms of getting a foothold in the way that it's been going?
I just think it's really difficult for them with the players that they've got missing. The front two have got to do a bit better holding the ball up, because every time it's gone forward, I know they're doing a decent job defensively, get themselves back into a shape and making it difficult for Wolves to play through the middle of them. But when the ball does go up to Mopé or Josh Da Silva, it has to stick. It has to give them an opportunity to get up the pitch. They haven't had sustained periods of possession. Wolves have dominated in that respect.
You're listening to Wolves against Brentford in the FA Cup on Talksport 2 with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. We're back underway. Brentford in their light grey and very dark grey shirts, kicking from right to left, defending the South Bank here at Molineux. And Wolves in their traditional old gold and black, kicking from left to right. These are the two teams. Jose Sarr in goal for Wolves. Kilman, Santi Bueno and Totti. Semedo, Hodge, Doyle and Doherty. Sarabia and Cunha and Bellegarde. For Brentford, it's Strakosha in goal. A back five of Roerslev, Collins, Ayer, Mee and Lewis Potter. And Damsgaard, Janelt and Jensen, Da Silva and Mopé up front. Goal scorers at Semedo for Wolves on 36, Collins on 13 for Brentford. We haven't seen anyone booked as yet. The ball is back with the Brentford goalkeeper Strakosha. and he'll flight it forward towards halfway. Kilman leaning into Mopé, can head it back forward. Cunha trying to battle and get the better of Jensen, who is judged to have then fouled Sarabia. And it's a free kick that Wolves will take about 15 yards outside the Brentford penalty area.
Yeah, and also, I mean, when I look at the two benches, which, you know, you often do, you're thinking who can come off the bench and make a difference. I look at Wolves and I see Lamina and Pedro Neto's names, and they stand out and jump out at me as two players who can really have an influence off the bench.
I'll run through the two benches for you very shortly, actually. Sarabia is going to take this free kick. Left-footed, it's an in-swinger, well headed away by the retreating Collins. And then played back down towards the left-hand side of the box, where Roslev's right-footed clearance just got there ahead of Totti, smacked it into him, and it goes out of play for a throw. Strength in patches on the Wolves bench. Lamina, Neto, Mosquera, Dawson, Hugo Bueno, youngsters Griffiths, Chihuahua, Fraser, and the goalkeeper Bentley. For Brentford, Charlie Good, who hasn't seen the light of day for Brentford for more than 2 years now. Jørgensen, Pert Harris, Baptiste, Yarmoliuk, Ola Kigby, Brearley, Frederick. And their substitute goalkeeper is Flecken. Haven't seen anybody off the bench so far. Ball's out again. Spent plenty of time in this second half out of play. It's a throw that Nelson Semedo is going to take with 2.5 minutes into the second half here on Talksport 2. And it remains Wolves 1, Brentford 1. Ball hooked forward and brought under control by Janelt for Brentford.
We talked a lot in the first half about the bravery of Wolves and the bravery in pushing Kilman and Totti up the pitch. I think it's going to be interesting to see how brave Brentford are in this second half and how high are they going to start pressing Wolves. Are they going to go and try and get in their faces, in their final third, close them down a little bit higher up the pitch? Or are they going to be content to sit behind the ball and try and soak up the pressure as they did in the first?
Half times in the other FA Cup ties, incidentally. Birmingham 0, Hull 1, Bristol City 1, West Ham 0, Eastleigh 0, Newport 1. Bolton have just hit the bar deep in stoppage time at the end of the first half. It's 1-1 in that game against Luton. Brentford hook the ball forward. Ben Mee's going to chase after it. Will get there, down by the corner flag. As he won a corner, he has. Good play by the veteran centre-half. Collins gives him a low 5 of appreciation, and both will take up station inside that 18-yard box. Try and get on the delivery here from Matthias Jensen. Jensen spotting the ball down. And again, De Silva's unmarked on the edge of the penalty area. Damsgaard just outside the D, no one with him either. But Jensen waves everybody away. Now Janelt will back pedal towards the edge of the box. It's in towards the near post. It travelled a long way. Wolves can half get it clear. Hook back into the fray, but not to good effect. It's straight over from Ruslev and out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Jose Sarr. 1-1.
And that's the type of situation where Brentford are at their most dangerous. Set pieces, balls into the box. You know, the three centre-backs are big players and they attack the ball really well. Aya, Collins and Ben Mee. So if they can get set pieces and load the box, that's their best opportunity.
That is half-time now in that other FA Cup tie. Bolton 1, Luton 1 at the break. Clearance is going to be taken here by Jose Sarr for Wolves. Long goal kick forward. Headed by Damsgaard. Now towards the far touchline. Brought under control, though, by Doyle for Wolves. And just lends it to Totti and gets it back. Shakes as if he's going to play it back to his goalkeeper. Reversed it through the midfield towards Hodge. Well read by Jensen, who won it, and then pirouetted really neatly in the midfield to buy himself a yard of space. Right-footed ball inside the penalty area was a little bit skiddy, and Doyle could knock that away. And now Wolves on the counter-attack will get it forward. And this is a big moment for them towards the edge of the penalty area. Sarabia's made good ground. And we'll bring it back out. He plays it in towards the feet of Hodge, who was quickly closed down by Mopé, who can get it away. They worked the situation brilliantly, but Sarabia just ran out of legs and potentially ideas around the edge of the penalty area. Certainly options. Brentford cleared it.
Ran out of pace. His actual movement was great. From inside his own half, he made the run in behind the Brentford defence, and he looked like he was away. He certainly got away from Ben Mee, but I think it was Collins who got back and won the second ball, but he just ran out of legs, and as you say, he had to turn back, which Brentford have worked incredibly hard to get their numbers in behind the ball.
Kilman towards the edge of the penalty area, and Doyle couldn't get on the end of his ball. Ben Mee bringing it right down to this near touchline, the Brentford left, fires it forward. De Silva trying to get there. It was a cannon into by Sandy Bueno. Free kick for Brentford, taken quickly. Mopé down the line for Lewis Potter. And the left wing back will bring it forward. And will run at Semedo. Mopé with a little step over on the edge of the box. Gets it back. Fires in. And Brentford, well, their celebrations are curtailed by an offside flag. Mopé getting in after a clever little step over. De Silva flicked it back to him. And for now, although it is being checked, the goal is chalked off.
Yeah, my initial reaction was offside. I know we're sort of in the other half, if you like, looking at it, so it's difficult to tell. We're certainly not in line with it, and so we can't be certain. But my initial reaction was Mopé was in an offside position. It was a great finish. The goalkeeper to beat, he lifted it over the goalkeeper. It was an excellent finish from Neal Mopé, but my initial reaction was offside. He's looking actually for guidance from the bench. He's looking at Thomas Frank, and Thomas Frank's sort of doing that 50-50. It's 50-50 whether he's on or off. That's how it's obviously a close one.
Yep, they're still looking. No, they're still looking. So it is close. And Neal Mopé, it was a good finish, a really good move down that left-hand side. It was the first time they've really been able to get Keane Lewis Potter into the game in an attacking context. That was a good delivery in from him. Jose Sarr has the ball in his hand, but he'll either be taking a free kick or throwing it to the centre circle in a moment. And you can tell how close it is, the fact that they are still looking. Now, we're not getting replays here on our monitors in the press box at Molineux, so I can't even hazard a guess. I think you and I both thought probably it was offside, that it would be very close, but it probably was offside, but we don't know. We're not seeing a replay that I can give you any further enlightenment one way or the other.
It's always difficult, isn't it, when a defender's stepping up and the attacker's going into the forward position to be definitive about it. You know, my initial reaction was offside. Difficult to tell. We're, like I say, nowhere near in line with it. It's at the opposite end of the pitch from us, and they're still in consultation, and eventually a decision's been made.
It's a goal, and Brentford lead, and the referee gets the instruction from VAR, Graham Scott, that he was onside, and Neal Mopé has given Brentford the lead. They've struck early in each half. It's Wolves 1, Brentford 2.
Well, how about that? You know, I think everybody inside the stadium was expecting a flag to go up. It did, but VAR has intervened. They've decided that Mopé was onside. As I say, he had a lot to do. He beat Jose Sarr with a wonderful finish, with power and precision, but we all expected an offside decision. As it is, it's Brentford that are back in front.
He's got a really good record in the FA Cup for Brentford. That's his 7th FA Cup tie that he's played for the club, and it's his 5th goal. Scored the Bees goal when the two sides met 10 days ago, and he's scored for them again tonight. Well, they couldn't hold the lead that they got in the first half. Will they be able to hold this advantage? Wolves 1, Brentford 2, here on Talksport 2. Neal Mopé's goal, his 4th of the season, and his 46th goal in Brentford colours. Ball out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Wolves' left, and they've got it all to do again to get themselves back into this game. Sarabia. Was he caught by Mead? He was. It's a free kick. It was a genuine attempt from Ben Mead to win the ball, but he did catch Sarabia. And a free kick will be taken by Wolves about 3 yards inside Brentford territory. Wolves 1, Brentford 2. Here's Matt Holland.
Well, Ben Mead saying to the referee he didn't actually touch him, and he may not have done, but it was a bad challenge. It was a late challenge, and there was plenty of intent in it.
Semedo back towards halfway for Kilman. Attacking options on the bench for Wolves, as Matt mentioned earlier, including Pedro Neto. I don't think it's going to be long before we see him. The ball is over on the Wolves' left-hand side now. We played 10 minutes of this second half. Played forward by Bueno. Down towards Kilman. Now Sarabia, wearing 21 for Wolves. Left-footed ball clipped inside the penalty area. Easily headed away, only as far as Hodge. Hodge flicking it forward, trying to get Bellegarde in. Sliding challenge from Ayer, who won the ball and diverts it out of play and away from danger for a Wolves corner.
Excellent defending at full stretch. He's quick, Bellegarde. Turns sharply. Thought he got away, but Ayer stretched out a leg and makes a really good intervention.
So a corner from the Wolves right, in from Sarabia, right across the face of goal, and Doherty coming in, heads it into the side netting. It travelled a really long way through the 6-yard box. It bounced inside the 6-yard box, spun away from Brentford defenders. Doherty coming around the back. The angle was prohibitively tight by the time it got to him. He could only head it into the side netting. Pedro Neto's name being sung by the Black Country faithful. He's going to be coming on. Pedro Neto hasn't started since late October because of a thigh problem, but he's going to come on now. Neto for Doherty is the first Wolves change.
I'm a bit surprised, if I'm honest. I think Matt Doherty's had a decent game and he's looked a goal threat. Even then, he's just almost got on the end of the corner into the box. He looks really down to be replaced. Yes, Pedro Neto on, but I'm a little bit surprised that it's Matt Doherty that's made way.
Strakosha with the clearance for Brentford, who lead by 2-1. Remember, they have never won an FA Cup tie away from home against top-flight opposition in their history. Are they going to be ending that run tonight? 17 attempts before tonight, 4 draws, 13 defeats. Their record in games like this. But they lead this one 2-1. Semedo has given it away. Mopé saw Damsgaard, couldn't find him because he just had his ankles tapped. And it's a free kick that Brentford will take. As Mopé's won the free kick, but then he and Damsgaard having a little war of words about who should have done what and when and how. But it will be a Brentford free kick about 15 yards inside their own half. So Brentford leading as things stand at the moment. West Ham and Wolves from the Premier League going out. Luton being held by League One Bolton. The applause for Matt Doherty as he makes his way round the pitch. And he looks dejected.
No, he was. You could see as soon as his number went up, his shoulders just went down. He's really down. I mean, he's going at such a snail's pace back to the bench, and he's still sort of shaking his head, not happy that he's been replaced.
Well, a generous round of applause for him as he comes off. In terms of a tactical reshuffle as far as Wolves are concerned, they've just put Neto out to left wing back.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I am really surprised that, you know, he's had a good game, and that's why he's so disappointed.
Header away from Bueno on the edge of the Wolves penalty area, helped on by Hodge, played forward by Ben Mee, down to the left-hand side for Lewis Potter. Potter getting towards the byline has dragged the ball back towards the edge of the 6. It's cleared and goes out of play. There's going to be some action on the Brentford bench as well. Miles Pitt-Harris is going to be coming on very shortly. Came on at half-time in the first game between these two, and he's going to get half an hour tonight. Well, I say half an hour, at least half an hour, because remember, it could go to extra time. Extra time and penalties on the agenda, if necessary. Brentford hoping that they won't be. Leading 2-1 with 31 to go. Ball headed away from inside the penalty area. Then Lewis Potter goes down on the edge of the box, and it's a free kick, literally 4-5 feet outside the penalty area, left of centre.
Late challenge from Sarabia. He's the man that I would have taken off if I was Gary O'Neill. He's had a difficult evening, and he hasn't really recovered from missing that gilt-edged chance in the first half. So he's the one that I would have taken off. He's now the guilty party, giving away a free kick on the edge of the box, and Wolves have got more defending to do.
It's going to be a triple change made by Brentford in a moment. They're getting them ready. I don't know whether it's going to be a triple change that will happen come what may, or whether if Damsgaard can lace this one into the top left-hand corner, they might think again. Jørgensen, Pitt-Harris and Baptiste are the players that are ready. So Damsgaard stands over the free kick. He's actually moved it back about 1.5 yards from where the free kick, or where the foul happened. There are 4 in the wall for Wolves. 2 Brentford players stand past it. There's another 2-man mini Brentford wall on the edge of the 6-yard box. They retreat now. Damsgaard, well struck, goalkeeper beats it down and then got there before Mopé could follow up and get on the end of the rebound. Well struck by Damsgaard, but not quite close enough at the corner.
Yeah, decent hit. Got it over the wall, and it was dipping right in front of Jose Sarr, but he was equal to it.
Now Wolves win a free kick as Jensen blocks Semedo's run forward. And it's a free kick that will be taken just inside Wolves territory, but only after the triple rotation for Brentford. So, Damsgaard is the first player coming off. He'll be replaced by Shandon Baptiste. That's a straight swap in midfield. Baptiste has recovered from a shoulder injury, and he'll come on for just his 7th appearance of the season. At the back, Jørgensen for Aya, whose minutes are being managed. He's just missed 7 weeks because of an ankle problem, Christopher Aya. But he's going to be replaced by the veteran Zanke Jørgensen, who has won 5 Danish Cups and scored in the final in his time in his native land. And the final change, we'll see Josh De Silva come off, and he'll be replaced by Miles Peart-Harris. Peart-Harris, who scored 6 goals in a loan spell at Forest Green in League One last season. A player who's never started a game for Brentford, but gets the chance to make his 7th appearance for the club tonight. So a triple change being made just past the hour mark. You would Talksport 2, and it's Wolves 1, Brentford 2. Goal early in the second half, incidentally, at the Silver Lake Stadium, where Eastleigh have equalised at home to Newport. Eastleigh 1, Newport 1. Manchester United travelling away to the winners of that tie. And it's Eastleigh 1, Newport 1. Confirm the Spitfires goal scorer for you very shortly. Jørgensen getting it forward. High ball over the top, which is headed back over halfway by Santi Bueno. Ruslev is in there, trying to poke it forward. Bellegarde will chase. He can't beat Zanke Jørgensen. And Baptiste can bring it away. I don't know why I doubted myself. It was bound to be Paul McCallum that scored that goal for Eastleigh. It's his 26th of the campaign. Eastleigh 1, Newport 1 the score. So as things stand, Eastleigh against Newport going to extra time. West Ham going out to Bristol City. Bolton 1, Luton 1. Hull lead at Birmingham. And Brentford 2-1 up here at Wolves on a night where Wolves have completely dominated possession. But it's Brentford who've twice led.
But if anything, they haven't really got going in this second half. I don't think they've played anywhere near as well as they did in the first. I thought they were better in the first half, moved it more sharply, looked more dangerous. Second half, I don't think they played as well.
Sarabia playing it forward. Janelt, then Cunha improvising. That was a little Rabona pass out towards Pedro Neto. And Neto brings it forward here towards the edge of the penalty area. Neto into the feet of Bellegarde. Heavy touch. That allowed Collins to get it back to his goalkeeper. And the long clearance towards halfway will be headed down by Santi Bueno. He's found Totti. Wolves will try and come again. Totti trying to get his way past Shandon Baptiste, and the ball's just of secondary importance to the pair of them there. They were just holding each other up and pulling and pushing and shoving. And the free kick has gone Brentford's way. They'll be in no hurry to take it. Wolves 1, Brentford 2.
Talked in the first half about how it had to stick for Brentford up front. Maupay and Josh De Silva. Likewise now for Wolves as well. Pedro Neto's made a brilliant run, played the ball into Bellegarde, and he just lost possession. And Neto sort of looked at him as if to say, come on, you've got to be better than that.
Wolves on the front foot again. Ball clipped inside the penalty area. Cunha wins the corner. And Sarabia will go across to take it. And they have the option to shuffle things around. They can put Neto through the middle and move somebody back out of the left-hand side. Flatten off to a 4 potentially. We've seen Wolves do that in games as well. 90 minutes into the second half, a Wolves corner as they look for their second equaliser of the night. Sarabia swinging it high towards the edge of the area, right-footed in from Doyle, and then the second attempt goes into the south back. Well, very deliberately worked. Doyle unmarked in space, 5 yards outside the penalty area, and it was flighted back to him. His first left-footed effort was on target but blocked. His second one off target, ended up in the fans away to our right-hand side. Better from Wolves, but Brentford are 25 minutes away from going through.
Yeah, and he's capable from that sort of distance, as we saw in the first game between the pair when he scored from sort of 25 yards out. He caught the first one well enough. I don't think it was going on target. And then the second one came back to him. It was not quite as good an effort and went way over the bar, but a little bit better from Wolves.
That's scored in his last 2 FA Cup ties, Tommy Doyle, but unable to make it 3 there. Kilman, as Brentford bring it forward and try and make it through themselves. Peart-Harris chasing, couldn't get there, and then a long ball forward from Kilman. Jørgensen did just enough to stretch out a right leg and knock it away. And the referee's given the throw the other way. He said that there was no touch off Jørgensen. It did appear from here as though the ball deviated in flight and that it could only have happened after a touch. Perhaps the referee is in a little bit of doubt as to the validity of the decision, because there was a very obvious display of dissent from Sarabia, who punched the ball into the ground when the throw had been given the other way, and he didn't get booked for it.
Maybe a bit of kidology, I think, there from Jørgensen, who just ran towards the spare ball on the side of the pitch and went to throw it as if to say, no, I didn't get a touch on it.
Well, he's got it again. And the ball is cleared down the Brentford right-hand side. Mopé chasing everything, but very little is coming towards him. Doyle maybe just caught there off the ball by Pert Harris. Play goes on. Semedo's got it, and Semedo very nearly dispossessed by Lewis Potter, but only very nearly. He turned neatly in possession and brings it towards halfway. Baptiste applies the pressure. Ball goes back for Kilman. Long left-footed ball forward from him. And Sarabia couldn't get it to stick. And he rolls through to the goalkeeper. Said Benrahma sent off for West Ham, who are a goal down and now a man down in the West Country at Ashton Gate. Bristol City 1, West Ham 0. Benrahma sent off for the Hammers. Back underway in all of the FA Cup third round replays. Ball out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Wolves right-hand side. Ball ended up going into the Wolves dugout. Gary O'Neill, eyes out on Storks, screaming at his substitutes to throw the ball forward quickly so that Semedo could take the throw in quickly. Wolves needing every minute to try and get themselves back into this game. We're exactly midway through the second half here on Talksport 2. Brentford leading 2-1. They've had a much better second half than they did first, and they've got the advantage in it. Wolves have gone off the boil. Sarabia, long left-footed ball out towards the left-hand touchline. Totti chasing after it, pulling forward from centre-half, controls it. Left-footed ball in from Neto, looking for Cunha, headed away by Jørgensen, now to play for a throw. Totti's taken it instantaneously. Neto has it again. Neto, clever little body shimmy. Still he goes towards the edge of the area. The layoff for Joe Hodge. Right-footed ball in from the Irishman to the left-hand side of the penalty area. Helped round the corner by Totti. Sarabia back for him. High left-footed, up and under inside the box. Was there a hand in there? Referee says yes. And it was a Wolves player who got the touch. It's a free kick to Brentford.
Yeah, and I think he knew it as well. It was Nelson Semedo jumping with Ben Mee at the far post, stuck an arm up. It did hit his hand. There's an element of desperation and frustration from Wolves right now. Need to just get back to basics, try and regain their composure. They were moving the ball really well in the first half. It's not been the case in the second.
You're listening to Wolves Brentford in the FA Cup on Talksport 2 with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. Now we're going to see another double change. This one will be a Wolves change. Lamina coming on, but also young Nathan Fraser, the 18-year-old Irishman, scored on his debut against Blackpool in the League Cup, and he's going to be coming on for just his third senior first team appearance. Chance to make himself a hero. Here's Lewis Potter. Play back towards halfway. Worked forward by Brentford's Matthias Jensen. Cleared by Semedo. Sarabia back for Wolves. And the ball came off him and goes out of play for a Brentford throw. And Wolves will make the change. So Bellegarde's going to come off and Fraser will come on. He doesn't look 18. He is a proper unit. And he's going to come on as a fearsome leader of the line here. The other change will see Hodge replaced by the vastly experienced Mario Lamina, who's been away on family leave. He has scored in his last two appearances, including a goal against Brentford in the Premier League. Wolves delighted. Speaking to the coaching staff earlier, delighted to have Mario Lamina back involved tonight. Free kick has been given to Brentford. Pert Harris has won it. He's taken it, smacked it straight into Doyle to try and get him booked. The referee, Andy Madley, just comes across and calms the situation down. It'll be a free kick to Brentford. I
think they're good changes from Gary O'Neill. Might have been critical of his first one, with Neto coming on for Doherty. Neto coming on wasn't a problem, but Doherty going off was in my eyes. But these two substitutions, I think, are good ones. Lamina does bring that composure to the team in midfield, getting on the ball and picking the right pass. I think that's a good change. And up front, Bellegarde had very little change at the 3 centre-backs for Brentford, so you can totally understand why he's gone with Fraser up top now.
Luton have hit the bar in their game at Bolton. It's still 1-1. In comes this free kick, very deep towards the back post, but Toddy is able to get it away. Collins just couldn't quite get the touch to turn it back across the edge of the 6-yard box. Wolves trying to break, and it'll ricochet, a little bit of pinball. Jensen with an ill-advised touch. Semedo chasing after it, chested on, is Lamina, and it's high and wide of the near post. Well, they just race forwards like watching a schoolboy game. 5 against 2, but they needed the bounce Wolves to come their way, and when eventually it fell for Lamina, the angle was too tight and he couldn't do anything with it.
An almost immediate impact from the substitute. It didn't quite sit for him. It was brilliant. 5 of them racing forward, trying to find the equaliser. It did fall to Lamina, but the bounce was high and he had to wait for it to come down, and by the time he waited for it to come down, Brentford had a few numbers back and all he could do was lift it over the bar.
18 minutes to go. Wolves 1, Brentford 2. Sarabia turning in the midfield, bringing it forward again. It's a good ball. Fraser waiting in space, right-hand side of the area. Here's his moment. What a story that is. Nathan Fraser off the bench for his FA Cup debut, and he scores within 3 minutes. It's dead level again. And the 18-year-old Irishman, who they think so much of here, has got Wolves back in it.
Just listen to the noise inside Molineux. The 2 substitutes have had an impact already. Lamina's had a shot over the bar a minute ago. Fraser comes on, his first touch out of his feet, drills it into the bottom corner past Strakosha. What an impact from the young 18-year-old.
Might the goalkeeper have done better?
Oh, I think it was past him in a flash. He hit that so sweetly. Maybe he overcompensated. Maybe he came too far across his goal and left too big a gap to his right-hand side. But what a hit from the youngster.
Brentford with Mopé inside the penalty area, the other end, and it could have been 3-2 to the Bees. Arguably, it should have been. It's set up for Baptiste. He's 15 yards out and he's blazed it over the bar. Great play by Mopé, lovely touch, but Baptiste couldn't hit the target.
Well, what a game. What a game. It's open right up. Vitaly Enoch wanted the ball back to him on the edge of the box. Wow, I think Baptiste had to go for it, didn't he? He was only 10, 15 yards out, hit it sweetly, but got underneath it and smashed it over the bar. End-to-end stuff here at Molineux.
2-2. Fraser scored on his League Cup debut against Blackpool. He's now scored in his FA Cup debut against Brentford. And Wolves are on the front foot again, and Fraser waits once more into the area. He's in again, and he's deflected wide. Thought for all the world that he was going to make it 2 in 2 minutes. That's a massive save from Strakosha.
What a save. What a save. I mean, talk about composure. Cunha, brilliant. The way he keeps the ball inside the box and finds Fraser. And his first touch is great. He opens his body up, then tries to go to the near post. Strakosha reads it. Massive save.
In comes the corner. Strakosha again with good goalkeeping has caught that. He's just been caught. And he goes down in need of treatment inside the 6-yard box. Eastleigh 1, Newport 2. James Clark has restored the Exiles' lead down in Hampshire. Eastleigh 1, Newport 2. Bristol City 1, 10-man West Ham 0. Bolton 1, Luton 1. Birmingham 0, Hull 1. Wolves 2, Brentford 2. And just as Wolves were preparing to take that corner, Strakosha, incidentally, is back up on his feet, is okay. Nathan Fraser's name was ringing around from the South Bank. You remember the first time, a long time ago, you remember the first time that your name was sung by a set of supporters? I can't imagine what that must mean to you.
Did that ever happen?
Well, probably,
no, it must have done. It must
probably.
Have. To be honest, in all honesty, at first you don't really hear too much of what the crowd are singing, because you're so engrossed in the game that you really don't hear it. It's only when there's a break in play, maybe a substitution, and then you maybe hear one or two things from the crowd. But generally, you don't honestly hear it. You are so focused on the game and what your job is and how you've got to try and win the game that you don't necessarily hear exactly what's going on.
And Wolves win it back. Baptiste's made an error. Sarabia slipped at the vital moment, just as he was hoping to get into a position to be played in. It's not been his night in front of goal tonight. A 24-carat miss in the first half. Wolves come again. Cunha in the middle, Fraser in the middle. They get a corner as Pedro Neto's cross is blocked. And the game has turned with that double change, bringing Lemina and Fraser on. It's all Wolves now.
Yeah, it is. It's all Wolves. But just watched Fraser. When that ball was out wide and watched his movement, you could just see he's a proper goal scorer. Desperate to just go short and then long.
Corner comes in and was swept towards goal, I think, by Kilman, and the goalkeeper got a left hand to it to help it on its way over the bar.
He's made a couple of big saves, Strakosha. This was a more comfortable one, but it was dipping under the bar and he had to tip it over.
It might have been Santi Bueno, actually, that had the effort, but Strakosha got out of the way. It's another corner. It's a left-footed away swinger again. Ben Mee with a powerful header. Gets it outside the penalty area. Sarabia for Doyle. 2-2 the score with 14 minutes to go. Cunha, unlucky as he tried to win it back, sliding in on the left-hand touchline. He's just gone over the line. And out of play for a throw. One EFL game tonight, incidentally, in League One. Barnsley have equalised at home to Carlisle. Devante Coles, 16th of the season, and the Tykes leading goal scorer. 1-1 in that game against second-bottom Carlisle. 13 minutes to go in this. Doncaster won, Wigan won in the EFL trophy, and Doncaster won it on penalties. They go to Bradford in an all-League 2 tie in the Northern semi-final. Wigan led for a long time in that game, but Sean Maloney's men knocked out. Good ball inside the penalty area from Pert Harris. Right-footed volley across the edge of the 6-yard box, and Lewis Potter coming onto it, headed it into the ground, and Jose Sarr, because the header wasn't powerful enough, could make his ground and make the save. He's bowled it out quickly. Neto on the counter-attack for Wolves. Checks on the edge of the area. Sends it in for Sarabia. And he waved the left-footed it and couldn't control it and goes out of play for a Brentford throw.
Some game. Really is some game. Neither side wants extra time. Both desperately trying to find a winner. Wolves look the more likely, but Brentford still carrying a threat. Had a chance at one end. Wolves on the counter then. Neto driving forward.
Volume being supplied by the home crowd. A massive prize for them, particularly, of a tie away at West Bromwich Albion. Brentford would look at that, a game against championship opposition, and would think that potentially they might be able to make it through to round 5. They've only got to the 5th round once in 17 years. 2-2, and it's all there for the taking for either of these two teams. We're, 12 minutes away from extra time, though there'll be a fair bit of stoppage time because of the VAR check after the Mopé goal. Right-footed ball inside the penalty area. Mopé again the target of a ball played inside the box. Kilman knocked it away. Doyle's touch strong enough to be able to find his man. Helped on by Sarabia. Cunha out to Neto. Brentford have lost their shape defensively. Fraser making his way forward. Neto's got it inside the penalty area. Cunha unmarked, but the ball didn't come in. Now it does. Headed away for Sarabia. And that's in keeping with the rest of his night, I'm afraid. Sent it way over the bar. And out of play for a goal kick. 2-2.
It's been a tough evening for Pablo Sarabia, to put it bluntly. Another decent opportunity. He had time. His first touch was a good one. Set him nicely. And then smashes it, 20 yards over the bar. Neto's looked so lively down that left-hand side. And driving forward again and sat his man. Took him to the line, drifted it into the box. A dangerous ball into the area. But then the ball falls to Sarabia, and the end result is way over the bar.
Now elsewhere, Bolton 1, Luton 2. And Jordan Clark has given the Hatters the lead for the first time tonight. Remember, they trailed to an early Dion Charles goal. Tav Chong with the equaliser. Jordan Clark has put them ahead. Bolton 1, Luton 2, and the 1959 runners-up have their noses in front. Palace or Everton away for the winners of that. We'll find out together who it's going to be tomorrow, because Palace play Everton at Goodison in a 7:45 kickoff. live on Talksport. Also tomorrow, Blackpool at home to Nottingham Forest here on Talksport 2. Here's the impressive youngster Fraser. Very tall, dark-haired, thick-set, round-shouldered. Plays the ball back towards Doyle, who is none of those things. And the ball played by Totti. Out towards the Wolves' left-hand side now for Pedro Neto. Down towards the blonde-haired Doyle. Worked effectively through the midfield by Lamina. Brought forward by Kilman. On the Wolves' right-hand side, Sarabia to Nelson Semedo. And Semedo, the scorer of Wolves' first equaliser of the night. Doyle urged to shoot, chips it over the top instead. Semedo coming to meet it. Oh, goalkeeper came out and clattered into Ben Mee. Dropped the ball as a result of that, but was able to gather at the second attempt. And Mee, although he picked up a pretty hefty bang to the back, I think is going to be okay and able to continue.
Yeah, I think he's going to be okay as well. He's tough, isn't he, Ben Mee? He actually did brilliantly, Ben Mee, to go with the run over the top of Nelson Semedo. And the goalkeeper came crashing into his own man. He is okay, back on his feet.
That Luton goal, incidentally, now credited to Chido Obene, but it is 2-1 to Luton at Bolton. So as things stand right now, Luton going through, Hull going through, Bristol City going through at West Ham's expense, and Newport going through to book a tie with Manchester United here, with no closer to knowing who's going to be going through in front of a crowd of 24,692. Ball over on the Brentford right-hand side. They've got it in the penalty area. Baptiste trying to find Mopé. Turns away in frustration as the ball was cleared. Collins on 13 for Brentford. Semedo equalising 9 before the break. Then Mopé earlier in the second half with a goal that looked offside, but a lengthy VAR check proved otherwise. And then Nathan Fraser with almost his first touch after coming off the bench for his FA Cup debut and only his third senior appearance for Wolves, made it 2-2. That's still the state of play. We've got 7.5 to go. Long throw inside the penalty area from Jensen. Pert Harris trying to flick it on. Falls for Lewis Potter, whose right-footed effort didn't clear the bar by much.
No, it didn't. He caught that really sweetly. High tariff effort on the edge of the box. Had to wait for it to come down. Caught it sweetly, but I've got to say, I think Jose Sarr had it covered. It was across his goal very quickly.
He spotted the ball down, Jose Sarr. Takes 4-5 steps back and now will address it. Nearly everybody is in the Brentford half of the field. He's got a prodigiously long kick on him. He sent it over the halfway line. Zanke Jonsson did well. Heads it back into Wolves territory. Totti's clearance not the best. Shandon Baptiste can seize upon that. Good ball out towards Lewis Potter coming in left-hand side of the area unmarked. He tries to knot it down for Jensen. Doyle got it away, but not for long. Ben Mee was forward. Then Lamina will help it for Wolves. Mee way out of position, and Wolves have got a 4-on-3. Neto to the left-hand side of the penalty area. Fraser waiting in the middle. Was Neto brought down? Semedo with an effort, and he's pulled it wide. And the referee is going to give a goal kick. Said no penalty, but it will be being looked at.
I think it would have been a soft one. That was my initial reaction. Looked like he went to ground fairly easily. I'll tell you what, there's a couple of big chances actually in the follow-up from Semedo. First one blocked, second one he dragged wide, but two good opportunities for him, and play is allowed to continue. It did look as though it would have been a soft penalty.
Well, Nelson Semedo had only scored twice in 124 games for Wolves before tonight. So he's only likely to score 2 in the space of 45 minutes. And he dragged it wide. Birmingham back on level terms at home to Hull. Jay Stansfield, 3 minutes after coming off the bench, has scored his 8th of the season for Tony Mowbray's men. Birmingham 1, Hull 1. Now Wolves are going to make another change, and Hugo Bueno is going to be coming on. So whether that will mean that Neto will push into a more central position, potentially for Sarabia, and they'll put Hugo Bueno on at left wing back. Now we'll find that shortly. First of all, though, Brentford are going to have a free kick near the edge of the Wolves penalty area, but way out of the left-hand touchline.
You know, I've got a feeling that Neto might be coming off. I just had a conversation with Gary O'Neill. I don't know whether he's picked up a knock. I mean, he's obviously, it's a free kick to Brentford, so he's not going to make the change just yet, but it just looked to me as though there was a conversation between himself and Gary O'Neill. Might be wrong.
Well, he's standing near the edge of the D, preparing to defend this. Now makes his way out, Pedro Neto, just looking to see if any clues about how he's moving. Don't know. In comes the free kick, sent in very deep, headed back and flicked on, and Jørgensen's in there. Kilman hooks it high up in the air. Header back by me. Crucial header away by Santi Bueno. Back in towards Mopé, claimed by Jose Sarr. It remains 2-2. 4 minutes to go. As Jose Sarr tried to get the ball forward quickly, he was stopped from doing that by one of the Brentford players who gets a yellow card.
Yeah, again, good from a Brentford perspective, stopping the counter-attack of Wolves. Yeah, looks like the substitution may well be made now.
I know it is Sarabia who's going to be coming off. So the move, Neto into his position, and Hugo Bueno will go out to left wing back, where he's made some impact. He has started 4 Premier League games this season, but has proved to be an able deputy for Aït-Nouri. Maybe not as good as Aït-Nouri in an attacking context over on that left-hand side, but the youngster, the 21-year-old Spaniard, will go out for the remainder of this game, which is 4 minutes plus stoppage time, and as things stand right now, plus another 30 minutes of extra time as well. You're shaking your head, Matt, as if it's cold.
I'm enjoying the game.
You want another half hour of this,
definitely,
in your heated gilet. Why else would you have one? There's Neto making his way forward now from this new position on the Wolves' right. And playing it back towards Semedo, and a few murmurs of discontent that he didn't play a more proactive ball forward. Everything in front of Brentford as far as Wolves are concerned at the moment with their possession. All 11 Brentford players behind the ball. Santi Bueno. Now Doyle down towards Pedro Neto again. 2.5 minutes of normal time to go. It's 2-2 here on Talksport 2. Ball inside the area, flicked on dangerously by Lamina. He got past Jørgensen, but he couldn't divert the header past Strakosha, with Fraser lurking again.
Yeah, he didn't have too many targets, actually, Pedro Neto. He's looking up, he's come back on his left foot on this right-hand side, cut inside, and he's looking for someone to make a run. It was only Lamina, really, from deep, who made an angle for him.
Santi Bueno heads the ball down to Hugo Bueno on the Wolves' left-hand side. 2-2 the scoreline. Played forward towards Fraser. And Fraser has got Collins making life difficult for him. He's given away a free kick, the former Wolves player. Wolves go backwards with it. Santi Bueno back for Jose Sarr. He plays low along the deck to Doyle. Doyle to Neto. Semedo on the right-hand side. And here is Nelson Semedo. Pedro Neto making a run, and they're trying to get him in behind Lewis Potter, and he emerges with possession. Lewis Potter was beaten. Then there was no contact between the pair, thankfully from a Brentford perspective. Then it's clipped in by Neto twice. Fraser throws himself at it, a little flick header that didn't quite come off. And Janelt can bring it away for Brentford. Into the feet of Mopé. Mopé put under pressure by Kilman. Forced to play back to the left-back position for Lewis Potter. And then Pert Harris is pushed to the ground by Toddy. And Brentford breathe a sigh of relief. Chance for them to reset and get the ball forward. And we're in the 90th minute.
Desperate defending from Brentford, and a real desire, actually, from Wolves to try and find this winner in normal time. Closing down quickly, keeping the ball in that final third. Neto, constant threat now on this right-hand side, but time is running out.
So 2-2 the scoreline. 30 seconds of normal time to go. Could be 5 or 6 minutes to be added on. Strakosha. Urged by a Wolves fan behind me to kick it, and he does that towards the edge of the penalty area. It's helped on, but Pert Harris's touch goes straight through for Jose Sarr. He will bolt it out towards Semedo. And there's a clear, ravenous appetite from the Wolves here to get the job done in 90 minutes. Brentford in action Saturday tea time in the Premier League against Nottingham Forest. They do have an extra 24 hours ahead of Forest, who are in FA Cup action tomorrow, to prepare for that game. We've got 5 added minutes here. Semedo on the right-hand side, finding Pedro Neto. Kilman. Doyle. Doyle getting it forward into the feet on the edge of the area. It's a good save by Strakosha, because Cunha rifled one towards goal, and he was kind of going down. He got his hands up, flicked it up in the air, and then got back to his feet to catch the loose ball before Fraser could capitalise. It remains 2-2 with 4.5 minutes of stoppage time to go.
Really good incisive pass from Tommy Doyle into the feet of Cunha.
It's all Wolves now. Semedo. Here's Doyle, letting the ball roll across his body. Plays it out of the left-hand side. Pedro Neto on the bottom left-hand corner of the penalty area. Couldn't find a way through. Really good defending. Pert Harris will try and bring it clear. Toddy's won it back. And now on the edge of the penalty area, Lamina. Doyle just played it into the nearest man. That was Pert Harris. And Pert Harris is going to be able to bring it forward here. Very little in the way of support, if he needs any. It's got Mopé to his right. Just given a nudge on the edge of the area by Totti, who won the ball, and the referee says play on.
And that'll be checked for a penalty, but again, it looks like Mopé went to ground far too easily. Yes, a slight nudge in the back, but he went to ground.
Wolves bring it forward now. 3.5 minutes to go. Neto, Cunha, Semedo. Cunha, right-hand side of the area. Oh, perceptive ball across the 6-yard box. No one can get a touch. Lamina sliding in on the far side. Can't keep it in play. And he's got every right, Cunha, there to ask why nobody was there to supply the finishing touch. A great ball.
It was a terrific ball. He had to deliver it with pace because he's got a small area to aim at. And he did so, but no one attacking it. Fabulous ball from Cunha.
Throw will be taken on the Brentford right-hand side. Zanke Jørgensen getting it back. He's way inside his own half. It's only about 7 or 8 yards from his own dead ball line. Brentford will play it forward. Get it forward towards Matthias Jensen. Back from him to Ben Mee. 2.5 minutes to go before we head to extra time. Doyle can't cut out the ball in the midfield. Mopé turns it forward. Baptiste races after it, but Toddy's there first. And he gets it back to his goalkeeper, and it's cleared by Jose Sarr. Put it straight out of play for a throw that will be taken over on the Brentford right-hand side. Feels as though it's going to extra time, but that said, this second half, which has been much more entertaining than the first one. It wasn't a bad first half, it's been an excellent second half. You just wonder whether one of the two sides is going to be able to create one last really good opportunity before the 5 minutes are up.
Yeah, Brentford have been far more open in the second half. They've got another chance now on the counter.
And they got it on the right-hand side. Baptiste making his way towards the edge of the box, slipping it in, but he got the angle wrong. Mopé had done really well. He peeled off towards the edge of the area, waiting for the pullback. Pert Harris had drawn Wolves players towards the near post, but the pass didn't go back for Mopé, and that was a really good opportunity that came to nothing.
A few grumbles as well from the Wolves supporters because Jose Sarr took too long on the ball. He's looking for options. Pedro Neto had made a really good run on the right-hand side, but he didn't play him.
Substitution for Brentford. So another Brentford change. We'll see Jensen come off, and he's going to be replaced by Yehor Yarmolyuk, the Ukrainian under-21 international. He started a series of Premier League games over the last few weeks and has done well. He's looked as though he's acclimatised himself to Premier League football very effectively. He's tended to play on the left-hand side of the three in midfield, and he's going to come on here for Jensen with 90 seconds of stoppage time to go before potentially we go to extra time.
Yeah, not long left. I think it's Thomas Frank trying to see his way through to extra time by making that change right now. He could have done it, obviously, at the end of the game, but decided to do it before the final whistle, just to try and take some time out of the game.
Now it looks as though it's going to be Newport who will be playing Manchester United in round 4. They're 3-1 up now, away at Eastleigh. Eastleigh 1, Newport 3. Wolves hoping to create one last chance. 30 seconds to go. Should be another 30 seconds added on for the substitution. Mario Lamina has it. Down towards Kilman. Kilman to Semedo. Semedo coming in off the right-hand touchline. Just stops and rolls his studs over the top of the ball. Drags it back from Yarmolyuk. Pedro Neto playing it back to Kilman. Kilman in turn to Doyle. Doyle towards the edge of the centre circle for Santi Bueno. Wolves now will be able to work it forward, but they've given it away, and Pert Harris has won a free kick. And there's no time to take it, and we're going to extra time. So a goal apiece in the first half, a goal apiece in the second half, and we're still no closer to knowing the decisive moment of the night lies ahead of us, because after 90 minutes at Molineux, Matt Holland, It's Wolves 2, Brentford 2.
Yeah, it was a much better second half, much more open second half. Brentford were more adventurous. At times, they left themselves a little short, and Wolves on the counter-attack didn't make the most of their opportunities. I think over the course of it, Wolves will feel disappointed that they haven't got it done, because I think they've been the better team. They've had more opportunities, they've looked the more likely, but Brentford have shown good character to stay in it, and they've had some chances themselves on the counter in that second half as well. So, yeah, still another 30 minutes to go, potentially penalties, and I think Wolves will feel as though they should have had the job done inside the normal time.
In terms of substitutions remaining, both sides have brought 4 players on. Because you go into extra time, you're allowed to make a 6th change, so they've still got 2 left. Wolves can bring on Mosquera, Dawson, Griffiths, who's a young central midfielder, Harvey Griffiths, and Tawanda Chirewa, who signed from Ipswich back in September. He actually made his debut for the closing moments at Brentford, the Zimbabwean winger. Brentford's 4 remaining outfield subs: Charlie Good, the defender, Ola Kigby, a young winger who has seen the light of day in several Premier League games, Ethan Brearley, the former Rochdale man who will be coming on for his FA Cup debut, and a young Nigerian centre-half, Benjamin Frederick. So those are the options that the 2 managers have at their disposal. And Thomas Frank is just down and not wagging a finger by any stretch of the imagination, but he's such an animated figure, and he's got the players around him in a D, and he's just giving a few instructions. It's a little bit more haphazard in terms of the Wolves setup. A few players receiving treatment, particularly Mateus Cunha is just getting a rub to the back of the hamstring, but Gary O'Neill is in there, and Sean Derry there as well, just giving instructions to those that they think need it. But by and large, they're doing their own thing, the Wolves players, as they prepare for the restart. Yeah,
Thomas Frank's always got his magnetic tactics board, showing the players exactly what he wants from them. In the first half, it was a really good defensive display. They made it difficult for Wolves. They allowed Wolves to have plenty of possession, and they made it really difficult for them to be played through. And then in the second half, actually, they were quite open, weren't they, in the second half? Bit more open than they were in the first, and gave Wolves chances on the counter, but they've shown good character, because they're having a tough time at the moment, particularly in the Premier League. They lost 5 on the spin, and to come here with the amount of players that they've got out, I think Thomas Frank will be delighted with the attitude his team have shown.
Well, one of the Premier League teams will be eliminated here. We still don't know who it's going to be. West Ham getting ever closer to elimination down in the West Country. Trail at Bristol City in the final 10 minutes now. They've brought a couple of young forwards on, Divine Mbama and also Callum Marshall on for West Ham. But they trail 1-0, and Said Ben Rama's dismissal means they're a man light as well. That conclusion to the game is live over on Talksport for you right now. Birmingham 1, Hull 1 at St Andrews. Jay Stansfield equalising for Birmingham after Jason Lakilo's goal for Hull. 7 minutes away from extra time there. Bolton 1, Luton 2 with 12 minutes of normal time to go. They come from behind with goals from Taith Chong and Chido Abene after Dion Charles had given Bolton the lead. And Newport seemingly going safely through at Eastleigh. With goals from Wildig, Clark and Evans. Paul McCallum had got the Spitfires back on level terms early in the second half. They're in the final 10 minutes of the League One game. Barnsley 1, Carlisle 1. It remains there. Mali now 2 up against South Africa in the African Cup of Nations with Hamari Traore and Siniyoko scoring the goals for Mali. Mali 2, South Africa 0. Percy Tau had missed a penalty for South Africa in the first half there when it was still 0-0. And the EFL Trophy playoff tonight, Doncaster are through a 1-1 draw with Wigan. Owen Bailey scored a relatively late equaliser for Rovers there after Charlie White's opener. And Doncaster won it 4-2 on penalties. They'll go to Bradford in the next round. So here, Wolves 2, Brentford 2 in the FA Cup on Talksport 2 with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. A reminder that tomorrow, 2 more live FA Cup games for you. Everton against Palace in the 3rd round replay on Talksport. Blackpool against Forest at Bloomfield Road. And that's on Talksport 2. Not just live football coming your way either. The Talksport network's going to be bringing you 200 hours more than 200 hours of live ad-free cricket. England taking on India in a 5-test series with Bumble, the great David Lloyd, alongside Darren Gough, Kevin Peterson, amongst our commentary team. You won't want to miss a moment. Coverage getting underway on January the 25th. And to keep up to date, you can also download the Following On podcast, which will feature exclusive player content as well as behind-the-scenes access published every day of the tour. There'll also be daily cricket content uploaded to our new Talksport Cricket YouTube page. So that's the 5-test series between India and England, and it's coming your way exclusive to Talksport from January the 25th. You won't want to miss a ball that's being bowled. Catch it all here on the Talksport network, predominantly on Talksport 2. Well, I don't know whether Cunha's got a problem. He was getting a little bit of a massage to the back of his thigh and his hamstring about 3 or 4 minutes ago. He's now lying on his back, and further treatment is being given out to him, but he's going to be taking his place for Wolves at the start of this first period of extra time. How do you see it unfolding? More of the same, Matt, because it was not astonishingly open in the last 20 minutes, but it was almost a proverbial basketball game at times.
Yeah, look, I'd still fancy Wolves to find a winner, but I've said that all along, and Brentford have gone ahead twice in the game. Wolves have pegged them back. He's still having treatment, isn't he, Cunha? It looks like he's having a bandage around his hamstring as well now. That's a bit of a worry for Gary O'Neill. One thing you will be thankful of is that his Premier League game is Monday night rather than at the weekend. Gives them a couple of days extra after having extra time to recover.
Yeah, they go to Brighton, and we've got it live for you here on Talksport next Monday night. You won't hear it anywhere else on national radio. But Cunha has now got, well, I would suggest about 3 or 4 miles of orange tape around that thigh. They started winding and kept going and kept going. He's pretty tightly strung up there, but he's going to be able to continue. He's going to be okay. There has been a pretty lengthy break on a cold night for these players between the end of the second half of normal time and this first period of extra time. Wolves lining up with Jose Sarr in goal. Still the back three at the start of the game. Kilman, Santi Bueno and Totti. They've now got Lamina in the midfield along with Doyle. Semedo at right wing back. Hugo Bueno at left wing back. And then they've got Cunha playing with Pedro Neto and big Nathan Fraser up front. Brentford Strakosha in goal. Jørgensen, Mee and Collins. And then got Ruslev and Lewis Potter at wing back. Janelt in midfield with Baptiste and Yarmoliuk, and Mopé up top with Pert Harris. Andy Manley, the referee, just waiting for the signal to get this game back underway. He actually sent off Mateus Nunes against Brighton here back in August. In consultation just for a moment with VAR Graham Scott, now waiting for the signal to get us back underway again. Looks like it might be a late winner for Barnsley. They've just taken the lead against Carlisle in that game in League One. They'll be up to 5th and extend their unbeaten streak to 8. Barnsley 2, Carlisle 1. Well, it looks as though everybody belatedly is happy. And it is going to be Wolves kicking from right to left in this first period of extra time that will get us back underway again.
I'm not sure how happy Cunha is. He's had a little glance at the bench again as we get underway.
Well, it might be just give us what you can for a few seconds and see how it goes, and we'll make a decision. But they're getting Chiroa ready. I think he will be on pretty shortly. Cunha just chasing, stretching, trying to cut out a ball from Janelt to Collins. And Janelt on the edge of his own penalty area will play it across the edge of the box. And Yarmoliuk now will go back to his goalkeeper, and Lamina putting the pressure on. And Strakosha had to get it out pretty quickly out towards the left-hand side for Ben Mee, who only controlled it once the ball had gone over the line. And it's out of play for a throw that Wolves will take in the first minute of extra time here at Molineux on Talksport 2. Wolves 2, Brentford 2.
There can't be many times when West Brom fans listening in to the commentary will be hoping that Wolves win, but they'll be hoping they get the job done in this 30 minutes because it's a tasty draw in the 4th round. They'll be hosting the winners of this game, so they, I'm sure, would like Wolves to get through.
Yeah, first time for everything. As I mentioned earlier, there's only been one season out of the last 12 where they've been in the same division, both in the Premier League, where West Brom, I think, took 4 points off Wolves that season. The Wolves haven't got a great record in recent meetings of the two in the Black Country derby. Albion would love another crack at them. Hugo Bueno, it's 2-2 here. Ball played back for Cunha, who's just able to lay it off. Doyle, urged to shoot every time he gets the ball at range, and might wish that he had that time, because that was a collector's item, a misplaced pass from Doyle, just behind Semedo, who couldn't turn quickly enough to bring it under control. It remains 2-2, and we played 2 minutes of extra time.
He's had a decent night, Tommy Doyle. He's always been available. He's been pretty metronomic with his passing. He's kept it ticking over. As you say, a bit of a collector's item, that one. Cut across it and kicked it out of play.
So a night where, as things stand, it's Bristol City, Newport and Luton who are going through. Not sure who's going through at St Andrews. It's 1-1 there, and we're in extra time here at Molineux. 2-2 between Wolves and Brentford. And an opportunity for the Bees to bring it forward over on the far touchline. Laid into the path of Neil Mopé, who's dropped deep between the lines to try and link up the play. Yarmoliuk, always neat and tidy in possession. Finds Shandon Baptiste. Baptiste back inside his own half. Played forward by Collins, the former Wolves man. Scoring on his return to Molineux tonight. Seems an age ago that went in for the £23 million acquisition. A couple of hours ago now almost. Ball from Mopé. Play back to Zanke Jørgensen. And he goes out towards the left-hand touchline again for Brentford. Little ball chipped over the top. Mopé held his run, stayed onside, chests it down, played forward towards Lewis Potter. Yarmoliuk trying to get in. Semedo gets it away. Mee heads it back forward for Brentford. And they'll come again towards the edge of the penalty area. Good start to the first period of extra time for Brentford. And there's the commentator's curse, because a high left-footed ball is sent swirling by Janelt straight into the Wolves fans.
Yeah, I mean, the game finished at such a tempo, didn't it? Both sides looking to try and find a winner. It's been a bit different at the start of extra time. The Wolves fans are doing their best to get behind their side and lift them for a big effort in this 30 minutes of extra time. But it has been a slow start.
Played forward again by goalkeeper Jose Sarr. Brought down in the midfield by Brentford's Jeho Yarmoliuk. And they worked for by Mesroslav. Now to play for a throw. It's taking a deflection off Cunha, who's still going. Brentford with Jørgensen on the edge of their own penalty area. Back to the goalkeeper again. And it'll be played by Strakos, who's made a couple of really important saves in this game. Brentford go through. He will certainly be one of the candidates for the Bees player of the match. He's been excellent.
And if they go through, Ivan Toney will be available for the 4th round as well. I mean, I'm sure that the 17th of January has been circled in a few diaries for quite some time, because he's been out for, how many games has he missed? 20 odd?
Yeah, this is the 26th and final one tonight.
Yeah.
Their record, incidentally, in those games, they still average more than a goal a game. They've won 8, drawn 6 and lost 11 prior to tonight. In the 25 that he missed before tonight. Scored 34 and conceded 35. I think that they've really been hit by the further absence of Brian and Burmo.
Yeah, I was going to say, I totally agree with you, because actually they were coping fairly well without him, weren't they, until Burmo got injured. I think they were 10th in the league early December.
Yeah.
And Burmo got injured, and since then they've had a really difficult spell.
They had that good end of last season as well, where they won. He missed the last 3 games, they won them all. Newport are through. They beat Neasley 3-1. Here's Cunha making his way inside the penalty area. Cunha! Oh, he's hit the post. Gave the goalkeeper the eyes. He was going to go to the far post. Dragged it towards the near. Cannon back off the frame of the goal. Probably wouldn't have counted anyway, because the offside flag was put up belatedly by Nick Hopton, the assistant referee on the far side.
And Gary O'Neill's not happy. Immediately he said he's not offside. Then he's run to have a little look in the dugout, because unlike us, he's got the benefit of a replay. I think he thinks that Cunha was onside.
Academic, I guess, with the ball coming back off the post. Late goal at St Andrews. Birmingham 2, Hull 1. The goal in the 4th minute of stoppage time.
Tony Mowbray, 2-2 draw at the weekend, and then that's a big result if he can get this one over the line.
And it's Koji Miyoshi who has scored it. And Birmingham lead Hull 2-1, and playing for the right to, as a mate of mine who's a Birmingham fan said, playing for the right to lose at Leicester in the next round. The ball is flicked on here by Brentford. It's a good opportunity here for Baptiste. He's got past the challenge, and it's brilliantly saved by Jose Sarr. Just got a hand to it and flicked it onto the post. Yarmoliuk has it now, left-hand side of the penalty area. He's played it back for Ben Mee. High ball in from him. Headed away by Kilman. Collins from distance drags it wide. And both teams have hit the post in extra time.
I'll tell you what a big chance that is. Shandon Baptiste cutting in. And he fresh legs, isn't he, off the bench. And he got away from his man. And that was a big save from Jose Sarr, flicking it onto the post. I thought he'd scored.
Well, he scored against Luton, Shandon Baptiste. That was his first for 2 years. Very nearly able to add to it there. Sarr didn't get much of a touch, didn't need much of a touch. Just got a finger to it to flick it onto the post. But I think he would have kissed the inside of the post and gone in had he not got a touch to it. Then as the cross comes in from the Wolves, number 7, Pedro Neto, Fraser instinctively flicked out a right foot, and a looping effort was comfortably claimed by Strakosha at the other end.
Again, his movement's good. You know, hiding behind his defender, then gets across the front of him, gets the flick. It's decent movement from the youngster.
Birmingham have won that game. They've beaten Hull by 2-1, and West Ham have been knocked out at Bristol City. Bristol City 1, West Ham 0. Tommy Conway's first half goal. Said Benrahma sent off in the second half, and Bristol City are through, and they'll be at home to either Nottingham Forest or Blackpool in round 4. Birmingham go to Leicester. Luton all but through. They'll be going to either Palace or Everton. Newport are through. They'll host Manchester United. And in this one, West Brom are still waiting to find out who they'll be hosting. An 11:45 kickoff a week on Sunday in a game that's live on Talksport. Brentford are going to be making a change, and they'll take Lewis Potter off, and they'll bring Michael Olakigbe on. The player who's come off the bench in 8 Premier League games. He's seen an hour of top-flight action over the course of this season, and he'll get a lengthier cameo here. Olakigbe for Lewis Potter, with 22 minutes of extra time still to play.
Yeah, more fresh legs, more energy. It's pretty draining. And first half, you know, they played maybe a bit within themselves, Brentford, but since half-time, it has been a real open game, end-to-end stuff, so it's been a tiring match for a lot of players.
Play's going to restart with a Wolves free kick inside the centre circle. And Doyle sends it out towards the right flank. Neto dropping his shoulder, sending it towards the touchline, herring after it, clipped it in right-footed, but he was easily headed away by Ben Mee. Comes out towards Doyle. Doyle lofting the ball down to the left for Hugo Bueno. Toddy's got it, left-footed ball, slammed towards the edge of the area, and it hits Yarmoliuk and goes out of play for a Wolves throw.
Pedro Neto's got some turn of pace. You know, from a standing start as well, he was away.
Pert Harris has just caught Doyle off the ball there on halfway, and he stays down injured. Referee Andy Madley seemingly indicating that he saw what had happened, just tells Kilman to get on with it. Doyle's now back on his feet. That play continues with Wolves having possession inside the midfield with Semedo. And Nelson Semedo making a run out towards the right-hand touchline, then lets Neto take over. Back it goes for Doyle. Doyle to Totti. Totti shaping to cross, thought better of it. That deceived Yarmoliuk. Space for Doyle. Right-footed ball in. Past Fraser. And out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Brentford. 10 minutes gone in extra time. Still 2-2 here on Talksport 2.
2 straight from Tommy Doyle. And excellent defending from Ben Mee, who just got his body in between his man and the ball. And just guided the ball out for a goal kick. Excellent from the experienced defender.
Deep in stoppage time at Bolton. Bolton 1, Luton 2 remains the score. 2-2 here. Just a little bang to the head of Roslav from Totti, and a free kick that's barely in Wolves territory that Brentford will come across to take. Well, the statistics are interesting. Possession, which at one stage was 70-30 in Wolves' favour, is now levelled off at mid-50s against mid-40s. 19 attempts to 9, though, for Wolves. 8-6 on target in Wolves' favour, but 2-2 the most important statistic. Kilman heads the free kick away, falls for Ben Mee. Mee flicking it with his left boot out to the far touchline. First chance for Michael Ola-Kigbe. He's done well, creating space. Good ball in. Bert Harris attacked it and caught Totti rather than the ball. And the Wolves defender has stayed down and might need treatment here.
Well, he's not shy in putting himself about, is he, Bert Harris? He was always second favourite to get there, but decided to try and have an attempt. And he smashed into the defender who stayed down. Heavy fall, heavy collision. Jose Sarr administering the treatment, saying he's okay.
And Kilman just motioning to the referee that he feels that there was a deliberate raising of the foot there to catch Totti. He's back on his feet, Totti Gomez. He's just shaking that bleached head. He's all right, he's going to be able to continue. So, free kick that will be taken by Jose Sarr. We're in the 103rd minute here at Molineux. Wolves 2, Brentford 2. A night that Brentford have twice led. Wolves pegging the back with Semedo and Fraser's goals after Collins and Mopé had garnered advantages for Brentford. Luton have won, which is a creditable result away at the Bolton side, who won 5 out of 6 and 15 out of 19. Bolton 1, Luton 2's that's finished. So Luton go to either Palace or Everton. Remember, Everton hosting Palace in the replay tomorrow at Goodison Park, which is a 7:45 kickoff over on Talksport. Here on Talksport 2 this time tomorrow, it's Blackpool Forest. Mopé trying to drive forward. Well played by Doyle, who dragged the ball back with his right foot and then sent it down towards Cunha. Cunha's mobility is impaired, but he's able to get the ball forward here. Just ran between Fraser's legs, and then Ben Mee sending it back to his goalkeeper, sending it behind him, but not with too much pace. So Strakosha had time to run back round the ball and clear.
Not for the first time there's been a miscommunication between Ben Mee and Strakosha.
Cunha will bring it forward now, left-hand side of the penalty area. Back for Hugo Bueno. He's got Totti behind him, but he takes a more direct route inside the penalty area. It's cleared. Zanka's touch, helped away by Shandon Baptiste. Forward towards Mopé. Easily defended by Kilman. Doyle. Forward for Hugo Bueno again. 2-2 here on Talksport 2. Ball brought down by Cunha, and well saved. And that might be Cunha's race run, because it looks as though he hurt himself in getting that right-footed shot in. Leaning back, fired it. It would have just crept underneath the bar, and Strakosha did well to throw up a hand and tip it over.
He must be cramped, mustn't it, for Cunha? He went down and straight away he was trying to stretch his leg.
Corner taken short on the Wolves' left. In from Doyle, and his in-swing and delivery beat everybody, and goes out of play for a goal kick.
Well, still no nearer finding out who's going to face West Brom in the 4th round at the Hawthorns. There's, 30 seconds of the first half of extra time remaining. And actually, been a few chances. Baptiste hit the post. But, as you say, still no nearer finding out who's going through.
Yeah, both goalkeepers have done well tonight. Both have made excellent saves when called upon in extra time. Bert Harris helping the ball on here as we go into one additional minute at the end of this first period.
1 minute.
And the ball is cleared by Jose Sarr. Fraser, what a night for him with his first FA Cup goal and second senior goal and only his 3rd substitute appearance for the club. And it's that goal that has put this period of extra time. Brentford offside. Semedo working the ball forward. Wolves in a hurry in stoppage time at the end of this first period of extra time to create one last opportunity. Hugo Bueno's ball is very deep. Goes right through the penalty area. It's brought down by Semedo. Kilman helps it forward now for Pedro Neto. Doyle will be able to pick it up and go straight back to him. Now Neto into the feet on the edge of the box. Fraser trying to turn, and a Wolves player goes down. Penalty! And Brentford are furious. And there's a right scuffle off the ball as well, with players from both teams ending up on the deck. It's been a game that largely has been played in a good spirit, but Andy Madley has got some sorting out to do now. Zanke Jørgensen ending up on his face inside the 6-yard box after some pushing and shoving that had gone on after the award of the penalty. Graham Scott, the VAR, is going to be having a look at it. Matt, what did you think?
Well, again, we haven't got the hindsight of a replay, but again, my initial reaction was he went down easily. And it took a while for Andy Madley to make the decision. He thought about it, and he thought long and hard about it before pointing to the spot. My initial thought is that Neto is looking for the penalty, and he goes down easily. Of course, it's going to be checked by VAR, and we're waiting for that decision to be ratified.
Jørgensen is absolutely livid and is pointing to his temple, pointing to Neto. We welcome listeners from Talksport to Molineux, where Wolves potentially have a penalty. Pedro Neto going down inside the penalty area in stoppage time at the end of the first period of extra time. It's 2-2 here between Wolves and Brentford. And if the decision is ratified and it's a long VAR inspection, then Wolves will have the chance to take the lead for the first time tonight. But still, the VAR, Graham Scott, is having a look at the way that Neto went down inside the penalty area and whether it is a legitimate penalty. The on-field decision is for a spot kick. The Brentford players continue to surround the referee Madley. There was some pushing and shoving that went on in the immediate aftermath of the award of the penalty. Zanke Jørgensen front and centre in that. He ended up on the deck and is just being calmed down by the referee now. But still, they don't know. Now he has pointed to the spot, so the penalty award is confirmed. They're now checking, as you may have heard, for a potential red card inside the penalty area for violent conduct for what went on after the award of the penalty. Now Vitaly Janelt is speaking to the referee and just seeking clarification. We haven't seen a replay. We don't know who it was. Well, indeed, we don't know which team it was.
Your guess is as good as mine, Jim. Honestly,
well, Jørgensen ended up on the deck, so was it a Wolves player on Jørgensen? I don't know. That's speculation.
That would be the thinking. That would have been the thinking. That Jørgensen went to ground and that there was a shove on him. And the decision is no red card anyway, and the penalty stands.
So Cunha is going to have the chance to give Wolves a 3-2 lead with what will be the last kick of this first period of extra time. Strakosha has made a couple of really important saves. Or will he be able to keep parity intact here for Brentford once more? Pedro Neto's just raced over towards this near touchline, incidentally, and has been in lengthy dialogue with the Wolves bench. But all eyes on Cunha against Strakosha. Brentford have twice led tonight. Can Wolves lead now? Yes, they can. Drilled with aplomb into the bottom left-hand corner. It's Wolves 3, Brentford 2. And the Black Country derby gets ever closer.
Well, they've twice had to come from behind tonight, and now they lead with the second half of extra time remaining. How cool was that from Cunha? Started straight, then worked the angle. It was a stuttering run, and he drills it into the bottom corner. A fabulous penalty under pressure.
His 7th goal of the season. On 105 plus 5. It's Wolves 3, Brentford 2. And now it's Brentford who have to show resilience and come back into the game. And something that Wolves have twice done. Collins and Mopé giving Brentford the lead early in each half. Semedo and Fraser with equalisers. Now Cunha from the spot, a hotly disputed penalty. And Wolves lead for the first time tonight. There is time to restart play before the turnaround in extra time. Brentford launching it forward long. Tony Gomez beaten to it by Ruslev. Helped away by Hugo Bueno. Comes back into the fray from Ruslev once more. And then Collins is guilty of a foul. But no time to take the free kick because that's the turnaround in extra time. 3-2 to Wolves with 15 minutes to go, man.
It's been a breathless game. It really has been a breathless game. Played in largely really good spirit, but there's been that melee after the penalty award. But it's been an excellent game.
Well, remember, Joao Gomez saw red in the first game between these two. Wolves felt that if that was a red card, Damsgaard should have seen red as well subsequently. But it has been played in good spirit tonight until that moment. But 3-2 Wolves lead now. Will they be able to see it through? Already through in the FA Cup tonight. Birmingham right at the end, seeing off Hull to book a tie at Leicester. Luton came from behind a win at Bolton. They'll go to Palace or Everton. And Everton against Palace, the replay is live on Talksport tomorrow night at 7:45. West Ham out. Ben Rama's sent off. They've lost 1-0 at Bristol City. And Bristol City will host either Blackpool or Nottingham Forest, depending on the result of their replay, live on Talksport 2 tomorrow. And Newport's 3-1 win at Eastleigh means they have the plum draw of Manchester United at home. That game will be live on Talksport a week Sunday, 4:30. Tonight in League One, Barnsley came from behind to beat Carlisle. They trailed for a long time, but won 2-1. They're still 6th in League One. Carlisle remain second bottom. The African Cup of Nations, Mali have beaten South Africa 2-0. The League Two game between Mansfield and Forest Green was off, and Doncaster made it through to a Northern semi-final against Bradford, away to Bradford in the EFL Trophy. They won 4-2 on penalties against Wigan. They trailed for a long time as well. But here, it's Wolves with their noses in front, and they're going to be going to West Brom if it stays this way.
Wolves have got their noses in front for the first time in this tie. Came from a goal behind at Brentford, twice gone behind this evening, and now they're 15 minutes away from that plum draw in the fourth round away at West Brom. The Black Country derby awaits.
Well, Brentford have only won one of the last 8 meetings between these two. That was the league game here a couple of seasons ago. Tony and Burmo, the goal scorers that day. The Wolves 4-1 winners at Brentford 3 weeks ago in the league. A 1-1 draw with 10 men in the original tie between these two, and now leading 3-2 as we start the second period of extra time here on Talksport. Long ball forward from Ben Mee towards the edge of the penalty area. It's headed away by Doyle, helped on by Fraser, and then cleared. Brentford working it back in with Mopé. Can he turn and get a shot in or set somebody up? He's trying to play it back. It's hit Semedo, then Mopé. Real pinball going on. Collins is in there lurking with intent. Lamina back, trying to play it away. He's given a corner away. It could have been worse from a Wolves perspective there.
Well, expect more of the same in this last 15 minutes. Brentford desperately trying to find a way back into the game. They're going to load the box. Just about to take the corner now. Everyone forward. Everyone within 20 yards of the Wolves goal, bar the goalkeeper.
And he comes towards the near post looking for a near post flick, and it's hit a Wolves player and cannon wide. Not far wide, it was nearly a Fraser own goal.
Yeah, it was. He didn't know anything about it. Just hit him on the chest and went a yard wide of the post.
Jose Sarr stood no chance of being able to get that if that had crept in. Dawson warming up. He'll be on in a moment for Wolves. Ball inside the penalty area. Not the best from Ruslev. Comes out for Yarmoliuk. And out of the Brentford right. Left-footed ball swung in again. Collins the target's taken a defensive header, but it's going to be kept in on the Brentford left-hand side. Jørgensen. Ball in from him towards the penalty spot. Wolves stab that one clear. Only as far as Baptiste. Baptiste back for Yarmoliuk. Wolves will push out, putting pressure on the Ukrainian. And he's done well to retain the ball, then fell into the challenge of Cunha. No foul. Wolves work it forward quickly. Fraser bringing it down. And Yarmoliuk's done really well, having lost possession, to get back on his feet and win it back instantly. Neil Maupay, fall from him. Collins can't get it to stick. He's seeing more time upfield now. Nathan Collins. Ball cleared by Jose Sarr over the halfway line. 3-2 to Wolves. Ben Mee on the edge of the centre circle. And he'll play it forward towards Zanki Jönsson and out towards the right flank for Roslev. Good ball down the line from him, and then Pert Harris takes a tumble on the edge of the penalty area. And the referee has said no fouls, given a goal kick. I think Cunha is going to be the player who'll have to come off for Wolves. He's been struggling for the last 15-20 minutes or so with a hamstring problem. He had his thigh really heavily strapped after the 90-minute mark. And Dawson is ready to come on to replace him. It's a change that will make a lot of sense, bringing a veteran, experienced defender on to shore things up as Wolves try and protect this lead for the next 12 minutes.
Well, we think it's cramp for Cunha. Gary O'Neill will be hoping it's cramp and nothing more serious, because he's been terrific again this evening. He gives them such an outlet. The way he takes the ball up the pitch and relieves you of pressure, I think he's been excellent. But it is a good change with Dawson coming on. You're expecting lots of balls into the box, a real aerial bombardment, and Craig Dawson will be particularly useful when the balls are coming into the area to try and defend them.
So Cunha coming off, and Dawson will come on, and probably more than just about any other Wolves player, he would love a Black Country derby. Man who really made his name at West Brom, having starred as a prolific goal-scoring centre-half for Rochdale as a teenager. But he played way over 100 games for the Baggies. And now back in the Black Country on the other half of the divide, and he'll come on here to replace Cunha. So Dawson for Cunha is the Wolves change. They've now made 5 of their 6 allotted changes. Brentford incidentally have 1 left as well. Cunha not moving with any degree of comfort as he makes his way down the steps into the dugout. They are still proper dugouts here at Molineux. Don't get too many of them these days, but they are dugout here. So 3-2, Wolves lead with 11 minutes of extra time to go. And you have your chance to react, of course, to all of the night's FA Cup action on the Sports Bar here on Talksport. Be taking your calls at the conclusion of this game. Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. 03717 223344, the number that gets you through to the boys. They'll be taking your calls very shortly. You can book them now. West Ham fans, obviously, they'd love to hear from you tonight, particularly if you're on your way back from the West Country after the Hammers 1-0 cup exit at the hands of Bristol City. What about Birmingham City fans? Delighted to have got the job done. First win under Tony Mowbray. Your thoughts as well, more than welcome. 03717 223344, the Sports Bar from probably about 10:15 or so tonight. Hugo Bueno for Wolves, back from Lamina, gets it to the edge of his own penalty area. It's worked back by Dawson to find his goalkeeper, and Jose Sarr just chips it straight out of play. It wasn't a great ball back to him from Dawson, and then Jose Sarr missed him. And he goes out for a throw to Brentford.
Good high pressure from Brentford. I've got to say, they've shown a lot of character tonight. A team that are really short on confidence, struggling in the Premier League, dropping like a stone. And tonight has been a difficult night for them, but they've shown good character to stay in this.
Yeah, 5 defeats in a row in the Premier League, 4 away defeats in a row. Long throw inside the penalty area is headed away and then volleyed further clear by Hugo Bueno. And it goes over the halfway line. Strakosha is pretty much on halfway as he fields out for Brentford and launches it forward, down towards the left-hand side for Neil Maupay. High right-footed ball from him. Jose Sarr came out, didn't get there. Ola Kigbe on the volley, took a deflection, and Jose Sarr diving to his right could make the save.
Well, he's fortunate, Jose Sarr, that he did get himself back on the line, because initially he thought about coming to claim the first cross, then backtracked, got himself back on the line to make the save.
Wolves launch it forward. Fraser chasing after it. Janelt used his experience and expertise, having initially looked second favourite, just to nip in between young Fraser and the ball and shepherd it back to his goalkeeper. 3-2 to Wolves. Yarmoliuk. Now to Baptiste. inside his own half of the centre circle. Pings an aerial 45-degree ball out towards the young winger Michael Olakigbe. Bringing it forward for the Bees, who look for their first equaliser of the night, on a night that Wolves have had 2 equalisers of their own. Yarmoliuk back for Olakigbe again. Works inside the penalty area. Little touch round the corner from Mopé, who has surely dived. It's played back and put in again, but the offside flag is up. And there was no hint of a celebration from Collins. He knew that the offside flag was up and play will restart with a free kick. They'll have a look at the potential foul on Mopé, but it looked like a dive from here, Matt.
Well, it looked like, I mean, it looked offside, didn't it? And the only person that is sort of claiming it wasn't was Neal Mopé, but then he claims for everything. So that's no real surprise anyway.
Well, play is going to restart by the look of it with a Wolves free kick on the edge of their own penalty area, although Andy Madley is still holding things up. Now, Neal Mopé scored the second Brentford goal of the night from a similar kind of scenario where the offside flag came up immediately against him as a very lengthy check. And that proved that he actually had timed his run really well and was onside.
Well, this one's taken a while as well, which suggests it's
not
closer than we thought.
So is it going to be 3-3? No. Hand is up. And the on-field decision from assistant referee Nick Hopton is empirically proved to be correct. So 3-2 it remains to Wolves. The clock ticks down from a Brentford perspective. 6.5 minutes. Plus a little bit extra for the VAR check. So probably 8 minutes of play, 7 minutes of play to go. West Brom waiting the winners of this. 3-2 to Wolves. Collins back defending for a moment. Fraser did well to beat him and guide the ball down for Mario Lemina. He's gone back for Totti. Left-footed ball over the top will be chased by Hugo Bueno. Hooked over his own shoulder by the retreating Jørgensen. And it bounces out towards the right-hand touchline from Yarmoliuk's header. Back for Jørgensen again. Poked forward really well by the veteran Dane. Yarmoliuk's got it, sending it forward. Turn around the corner neatly by Pert Harris. This is a really good Brentford move, but it's broken down by Sandy Bueno. And then Ben Mee pushing forward can't add to the Brentford attack. And Lemina wins it back, and he'll bring it forward now for Wolves. And tries to get away from Roerslev, but stumbled. Sandy Bueno still forward. Out on the touchline, he's played it forward towards Fraser, the Wolves substitute, who scored with just about his first touch after coming on. Now Hugo Bueno, he's put under pressure and he's given it away. Straight to Mopé. Mopé making his way forward, and Kilman knew exactly what he was doing. Wouldn't risk letting Mopé having a run inside the Wolves half. He brought him down, and he gets the first yellow card of the night.
It's as clear a yellow as you'll see as well. Professional foul from Max Kilman. A good decision by Max Kilman as well, because Mopé was threatening to get in behind. This game's just had everything, hasn't it? Feels like it could go on forever as well. If it finishes tomorrow, can Ivan Toney come on as a sub? As soon as his ban ends tomorrow.
Yes, ban ends at midnight. Well, they're close. They're getting close. Into the last 2 hours of Ivan Toney's suspension. Ball forward inside the penalty area. Hit a Wolves player, but Semedo can clear. And he goes out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Brentford left-hand side. Olakigbe retrieves a bright yellow ball from one of the orange cones that's down, withdrawn from the side of the pitch. Roerslev doesn't have the long throw that Jensen does, but he'll launch one in towards the near post, not quite long enough to be effective. Helped on by Semedo. Then Wolves will try and bring it away with Neto on this near touchline, who dragged it with his heel, plays it forward. He's got the pace to cause Olakigbe problems, and the youngster's done well, and then was fouled. But he stuck to his task manfully there, Michael Olakigbe, and that is acknowledged immediately by Shandon Baptiste. Free kick for Brentford. They've taken it quickly. Zanke Jørgensen getting it forward. 4 minutes plus stoppage time to go, and Brentford need a goal. Wolves heading through at the moment. It's 3-2 to the Molineux men, but Brentford get another throw inside Wolves territory, man.
Ben Mee's turn to stay up. Nathan Collins is making his way forward as well. Hugh, another long throw into the box.
Well, at least that's the intention from Mess Roerslev. Spins it inside the penalty area. Dawson's underneath it. Doyle can hook it further away. Brought down by Yarmoliuk. Cut across it with his right foot. Just send it straight out of play. A shot way wide of Jose Sarr's goal. And it's a goal kick that'll be taken by Wolves. Pert Harris knows that he's not going to be in any hurry to take it, so he goes across and retrieves the ball from in front of the hoardings and spots it down for Jose Sarr, who then stands hands outstretched, moaning about that. And he will languidly walk back. Then he'll pick the ball up and move it to the other side of the 6-yard box to take the goal kick, which he's entitled to do. The referee will add the seconds on. 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, Wolves' turn to try and take seconds, valuable seconds, out of the game. And Brentford are having a real go, though. You know, they are forcing the issue in this second period of extra time, keeping the ball in that final third as much as possible, winning the second balls, asking questions of that Wolves defence.
Ball launched forward. Janelt just got caught underneath the flight of it. Collins picking it up for Brentford. They have to try and get it forward quickly. 2.5 minutes to go. Maybe a couple of minutes to be added on, maybe one. Santi Bueno. Totti helping it further forward. Wolves getting ever closer to booking a Black Country derby. What has been a thrilling, dramatic game. Brentford have never won away to top-flight opposition in the FA Cup, and it looks as though that run's going to continue. They haven't eliminated a Premier League side from the FA Cup since they beat Sunderland back in 2006. And it looks as though that run is going to continue as well. There have been times tonight when it looked as though both would come to an end. They led for 23 minutes in the first half, just over 20 minutes in the second half. They had the advantage in the first game between the two as well. But it looks as though it's all going to count for nothing. Still a little bit of time, but the Wolves fans on the South Bank seeing the finish line, beginning to sing their side home now. Yarmoliuk bringing it forward for Brentford towards the edge of the penalty area. 3-2 to Wolves. High ball inside the box. Mopé will chase it. Dawson heads it away. And towards Zanke Jørgensen on the right-hand touchline. 4 from him. Good touch from Yarmoliuk. Back out to the right. Roslev's delivery in towards Mopé. Getting it out from between his feet inside the penalty area. And it should be cleared by Kilman, and is. Goes back out towards the right flank, but Brentford will come again. In from Jørgensen. Dawson beating Mopé in the air. Right-footed effort through a crowd from Collins, and he's dragged it wide.
Well, that's exactly why Craig Dawson was brought on. In the space of less than a minute, he's had 2 big headers. Balls into the box from Brentford. The ball's gone wide. Delivered balls into the area, looking for someone to attack it. Who attacks it? It's Dawson. Twice he wins big headers.
Jose Sarr do everything he can to run more seconds off the clock. Will be just about in stoppage time at the end of extra time by the time he takes this goal kick. Gavin Ward, the 4th official, has got the numbers board in his hand, and we'll find out in a moment how many extra minutes are going to be added on to this second period of 15. And the answer is 3. So an additional 3 to play. We're in them now. Strakosha guarding it for Brentford as they search an equaliser. Wolves just trying to keep possession. Fraser doing his best to bend his run to stay onside. I don't think he's managed it. Flag stays down for now. Left-footed ball inside the penalty area is half cleared by the retreating Janelt. It'll come out for Doyle. One back by Pert Harris. Forward from him. Through the midfield, helped on by Mee. Mopé. Back for Ben Mee. Chipping one over the top of Pert Harris's run. Semedo should be there first. Gets it back to his goalkeeper. And Jose Sarr makes sure, chipping it clear. And to relative safety. But not safety for long, because Brentford get it back. Mopé. Yarmoliuk now on the Brentford right-hand side. First of the 3 additional minutes already up. 4 from Jørgensen. Roslev bringing it forward. Toddy Gomez retreating. So too Hugo Bueno. Brentford need to get it inside the penalty area. Nobody taking the responsibility to do that at the moment. Now they might. High ball in from Yarmoliuk. Mopé going up for it. Another great defensive header from Craig Dawson. Comes out for Janelt. He's 15 outside the penalty area. Ola Kigby down the line to him. Janelt from the byline. Fired in. Pert Harris winning it in the air. Back to Baptiste. Ola Kigby back outside the penalty area. Wolves hanging on at the moment. Ola Kigby trying to deliver. Low skidding ball in from him. Wolves hammer it clear. And with just over a minute to go, it's a Brentford throw, and it might all be on this. Roslev coming across to take it.
What a cup tie. Breathtaking. Both sides have given absolutely everything.
Roslev arching the back, hurling it in. Wolves win the first touch. Mopé on the turn, gets a shot in, and it skids through for Jose Sarr. And he waits for Mopé to come and put the pressure on him, and he falls on the ball in exaggerated fashion. And they're very nearly there in the closing seconds here at Molineux. Wolves 3, Brentford 2. And we welcome listeners from Talksport back to Molineux. Wolves just seconds away now after Cunha's penalty right at the end of the first period of extra time. 3-2, Wolves lead. 30 seconds of stoppage time remaining, and Neto will take the ball towards the corner flag. All he's got to do is hold it up in there. Olakibi's won it back. Collins gets it out. Tommy Doyle winning it back for Wolves. Coming onto it is Hugo Bueno! And it's a fraction wide of the post. That would have set the seal on it, but I'm sure it's academic. The job's done anyway. The 3 minutes are up, and the game is up for Brentford. Wolves have done it. They've won by the odd goal in 5. And a week on Sunday, they're going to the Hawthorns for an FA Cup Black Country derby. What an occasion that will be. What a game that will be. What a game this has been tonight. A game that Brentford twice led through Collins and Mopé. Wolves found equalisers through Semedo and Fraser before Cunha's controversial penalty at the end of the first period of extra time got Wolves over the lines. Another defeat for Brentford, but Wolves have won it 3-2, Matt Holland.
What a fabulous FA Cup tie. The form guide would suggest that Wolves would win this easily. Unbeaten in 8 at Molineux before this evening, beaten Man City, Spurs and Chelsea in that run. Brentford lost 5 on the spin in the Premier League, were pegged back against 10 men in the first game between these two in the FA Cup. And tonight, Wolves have had to really dig deep, had to come from behind twice, and then they found a winner through Cunha. Breathtaking game, end to end, and it's Wolves that have got the draw that everybody wanted. Certainly they wanted, West Brom fans wanted, the Black Country derby. The 4th round, Wolves are going to visit West Brom.
So Brentford have still never won away to top flight opposition in the FA Cup. Now in 18 attempts, Wolves have won this tonight 3-2 after extra time. And it was just such an absorbing game. Going one way, then the other. Both occasions that Brentford led, was a feeling it was against the run of play. Wolves coming back into it and getting the job done. It's going to be some occasion. We'll be delighted to bring it to you here on Talksport. A week on Sunday. It's an 11:45 kickoff. West Bromwich Albion against Wolves in the Black Country derby on Sunday, the 27th of January. The Brentford players going across and applauding the travelling support away to the left-hand side. It's been a good performance from Brentford in many ways tonight, bearing in mind just how long the list of absentees was, but ultimately they just couldn't quite get there. It's finished in a hugely entertaining game on a Baltic night in the Black Country. Wolves 3, Brentford 2.
The Emirates FA Cup live on Talksport 2.